Ambien going Buttercup.
What a waste of my Sunday. That was boring.
Well, that course is not a good television course.
Well, the front nine was, if they could have made some birdies, and no one shot a score to make it interesting.
Well, not in the final 6 groups.
Right. I mean, you got Fleetwood that went out and shot a number, but nobody could go shoot a number.
Yeah, Coffin Ball, he hit all the greens, but, he wasn't close. I mean, it's not like he was missing, 6 15 to 20 footers for birdie. I mean, it seemed like Rory had 35 feet all day. No, it was half the fans because of the USGA. They only allowed 22,000 fans per day.
Well, because of the LA Country Club.
Yeah, well, but the USGA controls it. I mean, the LA Country Club can want whatever they want. The USGA gets final say.
Well, yeah, I guess their final say was they could have had the tournament somewhere else.
Well, what the USGA did, the USGA compromised, and the USGA said, well, how about we set up twice as many suites on this course as any other tournament we've ever had? And they said, yeah, sure, we're fine with that. We like those people. We'll allow them on the course. That's all our members. We'll get all our members to buy suites. So the USGA made a killing. I thought it was unfair, by the way, to Clark to move all those fans up close to the 18th green. I'm like, Rory didn't have to putt from 40 feet with this. So what are you doing? This isn't right.
15 seconds.
Yes, they do, Johnny Mac. Yes, they do.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Belated Happy Father's Day to all of you, of which it applies. Hope you had a terrific weekend. Happy Juneteenth, and how the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. A belated Happy Father's Day to you, Mark. How was your Sunday?
My Sunday was exactly what you would have wanted for a Sunday. My family completely left me alone, David, and happy Father's Day to you.
Yes!
The funny thing was I didn't really want them to. The wife went and took a nap. The daughter went upstairs, and I'm down here going, what the hell? A little company.
And is that after you cooked for them, too?
They did the dishes.
Okay.
They did the dishes. I like to cook, so I don't look at that as punishment.
No, I know that.
Take care of the cleaning up. That was the trade-off, because I usually cook and clean. I said, I'll cook everything Father's Day, but I'm not touching a dish.
Gotcha.
So the daughter was great.
Gotcha.
She took care of all that stuff.
I had a great day. All right. Haven't had a lot of them lately. Had a great day. All right. Was up early and yet was fine with it. Was actually productive. Went grocery shopping. Okay. I was like the fourth car in the parking lot. I was one of those. And then I was back, made a few phone calls, talked to mom, and then you know what? A daughter came over with granddaughter. It's kind of the reason, I'm a Father's Day, applies to me. Okay, this is cool. And then I had made this statement late morning. Wife's like, hey, come on, it's Father's Day. I go, I want a steak. I want to go out and find a steak. She's like, okay. So went out and had a steak. Now, I know most people, like, I told a friend of mine in the morning, I said, hey, going to have steak today. And he's like, so you're going to grill it up and what have you? I said, no, I'm going to go out. He just starts laughing. He goes, it's Florida. Most people, grill. I go, yeah, I didn't get that memo when I crossed the state line back in 99. So, I feel like I'm LA Country Club. Most other venues for the U.S. Open, they do certain things. When I crossed the state line into Florida, they said, well, okay, you're going to have to grill now. And I went, no. I'll incorporate so many other things. I'll dress badly. I'll wear flip-flops all the time. Okay, but no, I'm not doing the grilling thing. That's for my co-host. I'll find a co-host. He's the griller. I support the local economy whenever I can. So I had a good day. And then, got down sitting on the couch and the leaders were on like the second, third hole. It's like, okay, let's do this.
And they didn't do anything.
As a matter of fact, no,
they didn't do a damn thing.
No.
I wasted a lot of hours in front of that television yesterday to watch what I was waiting to see to be compelling, exciting golf. And if it wasn't for the chance of blowing up late, there wasn't a lot of exciting, compelling golf.
I mean, I sat down there interviewing Tommy Fleetwood. He shot 63. I went, I'll be damned. Did it again. Brahms posted a 65. I'm like, I'm okay. There's good scores to be had out here. And then the 8 golfers that we got to see all day, they couldn't make a birdie. But, all right. That's how it goes. Guy nearly blew the U.S. Open. That was the drama, I guess. 3 up with 4 to play. Things started getting a little tight.
They definitely did. The only thing he had going for him was it was getting tight for everybody else out there.
Right. And by the way, do you have a feeling that if it was you versus Scotty Scheffler in a putting contest right now, you would win? And I don't just mean you, Mark. I mean everybody who can hear my voice right now. That it was you versus Scotty Scheffler. I like your chances.
David, I want to get him a hockey stick putter and take him to the putt-putt course. I want to go Happy Gilmore with him because Scheffler putted pretty decently for 3 days. And then Sunday came.
And he hit a lot of good shots.
Again.
Amongst the final groupings, he had the most realistic birdie chances. Whew. I thought he needed a windmill. I thought he needed people to be making noise. I thought he could have used like a concession guy here. I got your hot dogs and peanuts here. Thought he could have used something. Maybe he needed some LIV. Maybe he needed some music. Something.
Shorts. I don't know what it was, but he needed something, David.
You know what? Here's why I thought his round didn't go well. He wore the Tiger Woods shirt. If you're going to wear the Tiger Woods Nike line on Sunday, don't you have to wear red? That was the Tiger Woods Nike shirt. You see the TW in the back of his neck there? Okay, I'm like, look at him. He's wearing the Tiger shirt. He's going all power shirt today. Well, then wear the red. If you're going to be Tiger, be Tiger.
He was merely just a kitty cat.
Wore the blue.
It's too bad because he's hitting the ball so well.
Oh, my goodness. Man, oh, man. I will say it's a little ridiculous, isn't it? 532 yards. It's a par 4. The next hole's 532. It's a par 4. I mean, they have got to trick these courses up something fierce to just try to keep these guys from going 25 under par.
And what they're hitting into 500-yard par 4s is scarier.
Right. Right.
When they're 185 and they're going, just a 9-iron.
Right. I love the 612-yard par 5. They're hitting iron in for their second shot. What? Third shot? No. Second shot? No. He's going to get pin high here in 2 with an iron. Huh. So 3 of the majors already in the books. That's it. Where are we going? Lytham? Liverpool? Where are we going next? I don't know. For your favorite sporting event of the year, when we're doing this show and there's live golf on television, I'm basically co-hosting by myself because you're just watching golf.
I'll give reports.
I know you will.
I'll give an update here and there.
I know you will. Appreciate it if you toss it to break occasionally. That would be nice.
But you're right. 3 of the 4 are done. And I don't know. What do you give the Open on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, it wasn't my cup of tea. Okay. And I don't know if you're the USGA, if you can somehow sit down and take this into consideration, but this is a television product. Now, I will say, I don't think that's the most important thing to the USGA. I don't think the television product is the most important thing. You could argue it should be, but I don't think it is. But when selecting courses, I would look very closely at the back 9. What are we going to get here? What's this going to play out like on television? Because I didn't think there was a ton of suspense in the back 9. I mean, if it wasn't for Wyndham Clark getting nervous, there was no suspense on the back 9. Now, you could argue, I mean, the 1 par 5, okay. He had an eagle putt. Okay. But also, when you put the pins where they were putting them on Sundays, it was tough to get close to a lot of these holes.
18 was the exception, and no one got close to it. I mean, they actually set 18 up in a way that you could get there, and no one got there.
But, I loved. Now, I know you can't have a golf course in which, 12 of the 18 holes are like this. I love number 6. You can go to the left, you can go to the right, you can go right at it. Okay. I loved it. I love one of those holes in a round, especially for those guys. The more you make them think, the more you make them strategize. Thigala talked about how, when he was asked, how are you going to play 6? And he said, well, we literally, went to a computer and used the analytics. And said, if we played it 1,000 times going to the right and 1,000 times going straight at it and 1,000 times going to the left, okay, how would we score? And once again, that's like managing regular season baseball and then managing postseason baseball. You manage a certain way in the regular season, 162 games, 6 months. Yeah, this is 1 week. If a baseball playoff series is a week, half a week sometimes. I mean, not so sure the season-long analytics is the best approach. Ricky Fowler was laid up on Sunday. He was already 3 back. No. Take the big stick out and go right at it. No.
And those guys were hitting 3-woods into it anyhow. They didn't even have to hit driver to get there.
Exactly. Put it in the front bunker and try to make 3. So I like that hole. I did. But I thought the fun part of the course was the front 9. And the boring for television part of the course was the back 9. Well, that doesn't make for good television. So that's all. I hope they don't go there again.
I'm with you. 3 brutal holes to finish where you just have guys hanging on.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you avoid carnage? And I love the carnage of what 6 was. That if you took the opportunity to go for the green and got it caught either up front or in that grass, 5 came into play, 6 came into play.
But, I had to chuckle. I mean, at least the pressure of the U.S. Open that Paul Azinger was talking a lot about, it did play into it. Both Rory and the winner, Wyndham Clark, both bogeyed basically the easiest holes they could play. I mean, Rory bogeys the par 5 14th, which, come on, you got to think that's my best chance for birdie on the back 9. And then, literally a hole that no one else on the course bogeyed. Clark's got a 3-shot lead with 4 to play. It's 139 yards, and he bogeys it. Well, that's nerves.
Yeah, he got a case of the pulls there late.
Uh-huh.
He couldn't do anything about it. Everything was going left.
Yep. And thank goodness that fairway is 59 yards wide on 18. He hit the best slice tee shot that found the fairway that I've seen in a long time.
Just hold on to that club and make sure it goes right. And that's what he did. Miller and Moulton, the starting 5, 25 minutes away. Great show lined up for you on a Monday right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, he went to LIV, Ambien, and I don't think he qualified for the U.S. Open.
Ouch.
What's that?
That story you just sent me.
Oh.
Are they asking this money from this is from Orlando, right? That they're asking for the money from Orange County?
Yes.
This is the same money that what's-his-face wants for his baseball team?
Right, but it's a common occurrence for a professional team to ask for money. Do you ever recall a college asking?
No.
$176 million from the Orange County Tourist Development Tax Citizen Advisory Task Force. That's who they pitched. They want $176.6 million in public funding.
Right.
It's part of their Mission 12 initiative, which I guess is a $270 million fundraising campaign tied to them moving to the Big 12 conference. So it would come from Orlando's Orange County hotel taxes. It's over 10 years, by the way. So they're basically saying we don't have the boosters to be able to afford this. We need your help. We can handle about a third of it, but we need you to help us with the other 2/3.
Yeah, they for the record, they did ask for this about a month ago.
Mm-hmm. But they pitched it Friday. So I just thought,
oh, no. I'm not.
Also the Gators had a interesting recruiting weekend. They lost a quarterback prospect who moved up 2 classes from 25 to 23 and then said, I'm going to Ole Miss, which makes the 4th quarterback.
He did end up moving up 2 classes because that was all being reported Friday, and then they were all saying it was BS on Friday.
Yeah, he moved up 2 classes and then decided, I'm going to Ole Miss. Why would he go to Ole Miss?
How do you move up 2 classes?
I don't know.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for starting your week off with us, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Ron Sirak to wrap up the U.S. Open. Matt Murschel to talk about the goings-on in the college football world, of which there's a lot of stuff going on in the state of Florida. He'll join us for that. And if the NBA Finals are over, that means the NBA offseason has started, which for many of us, it's the best 2-3 weeks of the NBA year. This league is nuts, and we love it. Now, once they start playing and guys start taking 30 games off for load management, and it's just, we don't like it. But the offseason, this is fun. This makes a drunken fantasy football draft look calm.
They do like to move big-time players in the offseason.
These contracts don't mean – these no-trade contracts don't mean a damn thing.
No, they don't.
I just signed a 5-year, $250-something million no-trade contract. I got the only no-trade contract in the league. 1 year later, I want out. Great. We'd love to get rid of you. We're talking about Bradley Beal, by the way. Many of you don't know who he is. That's because he played for the Washington Wizards. So you have they were almost in the witness protection program like the Denver Nuggets were for the last few years. why many of you didn't know anything about this Jokic guy. Now, next year, you're going to be like, Bradley Beal. Wow. How long's he been around? About 8 years. Really? Is he any good? Yeah. Been an all-star and everything. How about that?
Man, he was playing for the Heat like late last week. That was going to be for sure. Everybody said, where's Beal going? Well, he's going to the Heat.
Well, I got to be honest. I didn't think it was a good fit for the Heat for what I thought they were going to have to give up and what it was going to do to their cap. Mark, it doesn't look like Phoenix is giving up a whole lot of anything.
Well, that's what started being talked about, is how little you're going to have to give up for Beal late in the week last week. That's why I thought this could work out really well for Miami. But we talked about it. Ishbia there, the new owner of the Phoenix Suns, has a new toy, and he's got lots of money.
Doesn't care. He's like Steve Cohen with the Mets. They're like, you do know, Matt, if you do this, you're going to have four max contracts. No team has ever had 3. You're going to have 4. We're going to be so far over the levels that they just put into the new collective bargaining agreement. You're like going to have to sign Magic and Shaq to play for you. And no, we're talking about the current Magic and Shaqs in the 60s and 50s, because you can't afford anybody. Minimum wage players only. He's like, yeah, I don't care. Don't care at all.
Yeah, you guys figure that out. I want another superstar.
Yeah. Okay. So word was, I have no idea if it's true. We'll talk to Pat Garrity coming up in a couple hours. So we don't know, by the way, since Beal had the no trade, ultimately at the end of the day, if Beal just said, hey, I prefer Phoenix to Miami, then, Washington's like, well, okay, we'll make the deal with Phoenix. We don't know that. But supposedly it was down to Phoenix and Miami. Milwaukee really wanted him. I guess he said, nah, I'm not. That doesn't interest me. Oh, okay. But Phoenix has given up Chris Paul, who they were getting rid of anyway, and Landry Shamet, and a bunch of second-round draft picks and pick swaps, which will probably never come into play because the Wizards will always be better than the Suns. So why in the world would the Wizards want to pick swap with the Suns? The Suns' picks are going to be worse than theirs. But it looks good on paper. So the thought is, Mark, that the Heat were trying to do this deal, not including Duncan Robinson. And certainly not including Tyler Hero. But the thought was they were trying to hold, since they realized that this isn't going to take that much, they were trying to do it with Kyle Lowry and some other salary. And then they were going to use both Robinson and Hero to get Lillard. And then the Heat were going to gang up. And they were going to have Dame and Beal in the backcourt with Bam and Butler. Okay. All right. Now we're talking. So that's what people from the Heat side of things are trying to say. They're like, well, once the price got really low, the Heat were like, well, let's save as much resources as we can to make sure we've got the best offer for Lillard.
This league is something of when someone is now tradable, what they're actually able to get. Because Beal's going for a song.
Correct. That is correct. That is a max player over $50 million a year. There's this thing in these contracts called the trade kicker also, in which their contract's supposed to go up by 15% if they get traded. I wonder, does that apply here, since he was the one that allowed the no trade clause to be dropped? Do the Suns now have to pay him an extra $7-8 million a year? Because, 52 per wasn't enough. Yeah, get ready for it, folks. The new CBA. You're going to have NBA players making $60 million, which for them is $1 million a game that they play in. Just so you know.
And remember, all of this just to lose to Denver in the second round.
Now, take it easy now. We don't know that. That's it. We don't know that.
I think we know that, but
no, I don't think we know that.
No.
Remember, guys,
traded more of their depth.
But remember, guys, this is the first time in 4 years that all of Denver's players stayed healthy. I mean, think about the Western Conference playoffs and who all was hurt that Denver didn't have to face. It was Denver's year. It lined up for them. Great for the Nuggets. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee we're going to see Denver again. They'll be contenders, of course, but there's no guarantee they'll be in the finals.
And the 1 seed was important to them because they were great at home. There's no saying that they're in that same spot again.
I mean, think of all the games Milwaukee's won the last 2 years. Same team, by the way. Brought everybody back. Okay, they've won 1 playoff series in 2 years after winning the championship. Sports, you have no idea what's going to happen. That's why we watch. But it is fun, though. Do you know a week ago today, the finals are still going on? They don't wait. Finals over? Good. I got a deal I want to make. Denver better beat Miami in 5 because I want to make a trade.
They figured out the offseason, and they keep their fan base captivated during it.
By the way, remember how last week we were just incredulous that the Ottawa Senators were being valued at just under $1 billion? Did you see Michael Jordan sold the Hornets? Did you see? He didn't own 100% of the Hornets. He had sold off like a third of the franchise. But he was the majority stakeholder. Did you see what he sold the rest of his ownership for? A valuation of $3 billion for the Charlotte Hornets. Name me 2 players on the Charlotte Hornets besides you, Felipe. And you cannot say Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, or Muggsy Bogues, or Kendall Gill.
Out. Or Del Curry.
Exactly. Current members of the Hornets, $3 billion valuation, go.
I'm out, Jerry.
Yeah. So Michael's just a NASCAR owner now. I guess he's going to, keep 5-10% of the team there. He gets a front court seat at games. The starting 5 is next. What you missed over the weekend. We'll try to fill it in next.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, Ambi, and it really was. It was one thing to actually give him the max deal, which was controversial enough, but then to include the only full no trade clause in the NBA was ridiculous.
Ambient really sending me on Instagram the fact that it's Dirk's birthday today. Thanks for the reminder.
I did not brown chicken. Did he miss it?
Yeah, that was weird. He hit it too hard. It went down, hit the plastic, and popped out the front.
Oh. I reached out to Sapis to try to get him on the show. No response.
Is it Sapis or Sapin?
I thought it was Sapin.
Sapin, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Spelled like Capin, pronounced like Sapin.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, good thing there were less commercials. I think they jammed them into Thursday and Friday and Saturday, but woo-wee.
Happy retirement to the greatest six-man in NBA history, Lou Will.
Bob McAdoo?
And City of Palms classic legend.
Bill Walton? Bob McAdoo? John Havlicek?
Ginobili? I think he played like 1,100 games and only started 100 of them. Crazy. Six God.
Who?
Lou Will.
Okay.
Sweet Lou, baby.
No,
Lemon
Sweet Lou's Lou Whitaker. He
Lemon
plays for the
pepper
Tigers.
Lou.
I was going to say.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Ron Sirak in an hour, wrap up the U.S. Open. Talk about some of the goings-on in the college sports world and top of our 8 o'clock hour with Matt Murschel, the Orlando Sentinel, and Pat Garrity. He will join us 2 hours from now to talk about a huge trade that's already gone down in the NBA. Hell, we haven't even had the draft yet. This league doesn't mess around. Then once it gets started, guys don't play. Regular season's meaningless. Okay, this offseason stuff is fun. We're going to follow that for a while. So Pat Garrity talk about that in 2 hours. Right now, some of what you may have missed over the weekend, it is time for...
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
100-1, Mark. That's what the odds were on Wyndham Clark 5 days ago. 100-1. In recent memory, the only golfer to win the U.S. Open who had bigger odds was Lucas Glover in 2009. Wyndham Clark held off Rory McIlroy to win the U.S. Open by 1. Each shot a final round even par 70. Co-leader Ricky Fowler, well, he pulled a Ricky Fowler. He shot a 5 over 75 in the final round. Scotty Scheffler was great. Couldn't putt a lick. He finished 3rd, 3 back. Tommy Fleetwood did it again. 2nd time in 5 years. He shot a 63 in the final round of the U.S. Open. Not the final round of the St. Jude Classic. Shot a 63 in the final round of the U.S. Open. And missed a very makeable short putt for 62. Yikes. On the final hole. He even said afterwards when being interviewed, yeah, I know it's the second time I shot 63, and both times immediately afterwards I was disappointed. For Wyndham Clark, Mark, he is the 5th consecutive U.S. Open champion to win his first major by winning the U.S. Open. You go back, Gary Woodland in 2019, DeChambeau in 2020, Matt Fitzpatrick last year. Who won it in 2021 off the top of my head? I don't know. But also, he's the 7th of the last 8 years to make the U.S. Open his first major win. Because you go back, DJ in 2016, okay, that was his first major. And Koepka in 2017, that was his first major. Because the PGA at that point in time was after the U.S. Open. He would win that a month later. 2 months later. So
Rahm won in 21.
yeah, there you go. It's easy to forget about John Rahm. He's second-ranked player in the world. So there you go. 5th straight and 7 out of 8. So maybe something we got to keep in mind next year, Mark. Although you and I were going down that road. You picked Homa. I picked Hovland. You know, my second pick was Cantlay. He's still out on the course playing, by the way. He takes so long. Whew. Major League Baseball, Rays lost 2 out of 3 in San Diego. Did you notice the Padres manager over the weekend kept Blake Snell in the game? Anybody notice that? Anyway, I digress. Padres 5-4 over the Rays. Tampa Bay's got today off. They're hosting Baltimore beginning Tuesday at the Trop. Orioles are 5 back after they doubled up the Cubs yesterday, 6-3. Yankees have lost 4 in a row. They got swept by the Red Sox. Yesterday was a doubleheader, and they still managed to lose them both. 6-2 and 4-1. By the way, good for Cora. He came out and said, why are we always on Sunday Night Baseball? Enough already. I think America's seen this enough. Good for him. Way to go. Yeah, you're damn right. ESPN's not going to listen to you, but good for you. Texas beat Toronto 11-7 after trailing 6-0. All right, Texas's lead is, I believe, 4.5 over the Angels, who are on fire. Oh, by the way, Ohtani and Trout both homered yesterday. In fact, the Angels are in second, Mark. They've moved ahead of the Astros. 5-2 Angels over the Royals.
I think Ohtani has 8 dingers in his last 10 games, if I'm not mistaken.
This is actually the hottest stretch of his career. And this just in, his career was going along pretty well before 2 weeks ago. Speaking of Houston, they lost to Cincinnati 9-7 and 10.
Where are you going to go?
Damn near first place is where I'm going to go, Mark. The Reds have won 8 in a row. They're a half a game out of first. They're behind Milwaukee, who got done sweeping the Pirates, who have lost 6 in a row. Milwaukee won 5-2. Back to Houston, by the way. Do you know right now who's tied for the final playoff spot in the American League? Astros and Yankees. Not sure if they played this year and who would own the tiebreaker and that sort of thing. But right now, the Astros and Yankees are tied for the final playoff spot. Got the Orioles making it. Got the Angels making it. In fact, I think that'd be a first-round playoff series, possibly. Anyway. Mark, this just in, the Atlanta Braves are really good. They're going to win the National League East. In fact, I think they're going to win the World Series. 14-6 over Colorado. Eddie Rosario with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. They've won 6 in a row. Mark, for as good as they are on the field, did you hear what the Braves did yesterday? Yikes! On the awkward scale of 1 to 100, tell me where this ranks. Yesterday, of course, Father's Day. The Braves have a veteran, a 34-year-old player who's from Georgia, journeyman, infielder, and they called him up like a month ago, Charlie Culbertson. Well, his dad was throwing out the first pitch yesterday on Father's Day. You know, they didn't pick one of the star players.
Right.
They picked, one of the guys at the end of the bench.
Right.
He's a Georgia native. And so, Dad drove on in, and Dad's going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch.
Sure is.
And then the Braves decided yesterday morning to release his son. So obviously, Charlie Culbertson's dad was no longer throwing out the first pitch.
If he was throwing it at someone in the Braves organization with their back to him.
Couldn't wait one more day?
Not one more day.
Couldn't wait 12 hours even. Instead of 7 a.m. How about we do it at 7 p.m.? I mean, is that the new Southwest Airlines want to get away? Damn. Damn. I mean, that's cold.
That is cold.
Wow. Dad, are you on your way? Yeah, just stopped and got coffee and what have you. I should be there.
Mom's right here next to me.
Yep, Dad, turn around. Well, what are you talking about? We're all excited. I've been practicing the last couple days and everything. Throwing against the shed in the driveway. Got dents all over it. Well, Dad, I'll get you a new door, but I got released. What? Marlins, by the way, swept the Nats 4-2. Remember that 9-game road trip after the terrific homestand? And we said, well, let's see how they do when they go on the road. They went 6-3.
10 games above 500 are the Marlins.
You know, when was the last time there were 10 games above 500? 2011. It's been 12 years.
Come on now.
There you go.
Let's go.
Tell you what, I've never had to pay off a bet with Felipe. I'm nearly halfway to having pay off a bet. He said, I think the Marlins are going to finish 500 this year. I was like, name the bet, young man.
Knock on wood.
I forget what we bet, but whatever it is. I know it wasn't a lot. Felipe, I don't think Felipe's ever bet more than $6 in his life. Cardinals took 2 or 3 for the Mets. I don't want to say things are going bad for the Mets or anything, but the worst team in the National League just came to their place, took 2 out of 3.
Yeah, they're no longer the worst team in the National League. That's how badly things are going for the Mets.
Correct. 8-7 Cardinals. Phillies with the sweep of the A's. 3-2 over Oakland in Oakland. Want to play guess the attendance? Sunday.
Under.
It's a Sunday, Father's Day. Over, under. I'll go 10,000.
Under.
Over.
I always get it wrong.
To the tune of 24,326.
Good for you.
What is wrong with these people? Your franchise is leaving. What are you giving this owner any of your money for? He just gave you the biggest middle finger that a pro sports owner has given you. Oh, no, wait, you're in Oakland. In the last few years. Detroit beat Minnesota 6-4. Tigers won 3 out of 4 in that series. Twins are back to 500, but they still have a 2.5-game lead in the division over Cleveland, who beat Arizona 12-3. By the way, the Giants went in L.A., swept the Dodgers. That doesn't happen very often. 7-3 the final. Giants are ahead of the Dodgers. They're in second place, 3.5 back. Dodgers are 4 back. They both make the playoffs, though. And you know who the other wild card would be in the National League? Your Miami Marlins. Seattle 5-1 over the White Sox. Interesting game. Lance Lynn for the White Sox struck out 16 Mariners in 7 innings and lost. Seattle's back to 500. College World Series. Woo! The Gators head coach get away with one. Boy, did they butcher the 9th inning. They ended up having to pull their closer from the game because they made too many mound visits. What, guys couldn't keep track? Freshman came in, got the final 2 outs. They hold off Oral Roberts 5-4. Gators are in the winner's bracket. They won't play again till Wednesday. They got 2 chances to win 1 game to go to the College World Series final. TCU eliminated Virginia. TCU and Oral Roberts will play on Tuesday. The winner plays the Gators. Tennessee, Stanford, LSU, Wake Forest later today. CONCACAF Nations League. The U.S. without 2 starters because of the 2 red cards they got against Mexico. Doesn't matter. 2-0 over Canada. Giovanni Reyna started, had 2 assists. He's the guy whose family created the whole brouhaha with the guy who's now returning as U.S. men's national team head coach. So it's a good thing he got his playing time in now, because we know he's not going to be playing in the future. We joke. He's a terrific player. He'll play. But remember the story we did a month ago in which the international striker who could have played for any one of 3 countries, and he decided, you know what? I'm going to play for America. Balogun, he scored, and he scored a beautiful goal set up by Reyna. And it was a goal scorer's goal. Yeah.
It was a goal you see in the Premier League. It was a legit, beautiful goal.
Right. And you've got the 20-year-old Reyna setting up Balogun, the striker, and you're literally thinking, wow, if that's the future of U.S. soccer, we may actually be able to play this sport. I'll be damned. So hats off to the U.S. It looks like Phoenix is going to acquire Bradley Beal from the Wizards. They're giving up Chris Paul, whom they were going to release, Landry Shamet, who wasn't getting a whole lot of playing time, some second-round picks, some pick swaps. Yeah, Phoenix is going to assume Beal's 4-year, $207 million contract. It's about $52 a year. By the way, Phoenix will now have 4 max contracts: Booker, Durant, DeAndre Ayton, Bradley Beal. They will have no one else on the team. They will play 4 against 5 all of next year. Some other college sports news. Bob Huggins got a DUI in Pittsburgh and ended up resigning as head coach of the West Virginia men's basketball team. Bob needs rehab. Bob's a mess. San Diego State sent a letter to the Mountain West saying that it's our intention to leave. So the Mountain West said, San Diego State's leaving. They sent a second letter that said, no, we haven't left yet. It's just our intention to leave. We'll let you know by the end of the month. So why'd you even send the first letter? The NCAA apparently, Mark, going forward, they're seriously considering no longer testing athletes for marijuana.
Considering it's legal in so many states, it would be a smart move.
And we'll talk to Matt Murschel about this in a little more than an hour. But UCF going public on Friday saying we need $176 million in public money. Think of us as a pro sports franchise. Think of us as the Orlando Magic. We need $176 million. This Big 12 ain't going to be cheap, folks. We'll see how the folks in Orange County think about that. Talk to Matt Murschel about it in the 8 o'clock hour. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
So scale of 1 to 100. How cold was what the Braves did?
1,000,000. Father's Day, you invite dad to throw out the first pitch and you cut his kid before the game. You can't walk that one back, David.
Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
With me, everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Bear gifts for you.
Oh, a mango. Look at you.
A mango and some bourbon.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Late Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, my aunt has mango trees, so
I love it.
I brought a box of mangoes. I'm handing them out.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Look at that. Mangoes from Philly.
Oh.
David, whenever you come back in town, I'll bring you a mango.
I don't like them.
What?
I know. It's a
That's
flaw
okay.
of mine.
That's
It's
okay.
a flaw of mine. I'll be there in 3 weeks.
Tell you what, they're a mess to eat.
Got to take them off a glass.
Yeah.
Peel them off a glass.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, did you get a card?
Did I get a card? Oh, did Philip?
No. Felipe, did you get a card?
Oh, yes, I did get a card.
How'd it go over?
It went well. You know, big hug. You know, they were happy I was there, so I was happy. I'm telling you, my dad's simple. My presence.
All dads are simple. All dads are simple.
Yes, but again, my presence, because he's the type of guy. It's like as long as I'm with my family, I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
And my grandfather's the best because any family function, everyone's yelling this, that, conversation, blah, blah, blah. He's just sitting in silence watching golf in the Marlins.
Just another manic Monday?
Yeah. Wish it were Sunday. That's my fun day.
Just another manic Monday.
Shimko, I'm with you because every time I nearly called David and said, they've been telling me everything's streamed on Peacock all day, and not one time have they said Peacock.
Peacock.
In fact, they're pretty proud of it. Some would say they're proud as a
Peacock.
all weekend long, Shimko. All week. Never said it, thought it.
I hate those things.
McClellan, did you see what he blew? 0.21. It's very fortunate that he and others did not get hurt since he was driving.
10 seconds.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope you had a great weekend, especially if you're a dad. Father's Day. Hope it was what you had wanted. Today is a celebration of Juneteenth. It is the 19th. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Ron Sirak will join us about 35 minutes. We'll wrap up the U.S. Open. Matt Murschel and Pat Garrity will join us next hour to talk about the goings-on in the sports world. Mark, you and I have been on the Ohtani bandwagon for a long time. And we were probably out ahead of the curve in trying to tell people just how much money he was going to make. Well, Ohtani's a free agent at the end of the year. The word is he's not re-signing with the Angels, which is an interesting decision in and of itself. And the thought is it's going to be between the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Mariners. But the Angels are a playoff team right now, Mark. And they're a good team, right now. They've got Mike Trout on their team. I don't know if you're aware of that. Pretty good player. Right.
Some would say the best in the game.
Well, there was a time anyway. I'm going to rattle off the categories that Ohtani is currently leading the Angels in. Are you ready?
Go.
You want to start hitting or pitching? Where do you want me to go first?
Let's start hitting.
Hitting. Okay, fine. Well, he leads the team in runs, hits, home runs, walks, RBIs, stolen bases, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, and OPS.
As long as he leads in OPS, David, because all the rest of them don't matter if you don't have the OPS.
Well, fortunately, Mark, he has it.
Whew. I was very nervous.
Mark, I believe that was 10 categories.
It was.
Okay.
That was just hitting.
Well, there's only 10. So he leads in all of them.
Right.
Okay. Now there's pitching.
Right.
He's a starter, so he's not going to lead in saves. Can we at least cut him some slack there?
The hell's the matter with this guy?
I understand that, right? Can he come in and one of the other 4 days in the middle and get 3 outs? For goodness sake. So he's a starter and leads the team in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. Now, I don't know about whip or just I don't know. But anyway, he's leading the team in 13 categories, Mark. And they're a playoff team, so it's not like the guys around him are sucking. Remember, we were chastised by our audience 2 years ago when we said, this guy's going to get $50 million a year.
And I have one friend who's a big baseball guy. When I put that number in front of him, he wanted to laugh me out of the room.
Right. Because we were idiots. We were stupid. We said, well, I don't know. Let's look at him as a pitcher. What do you say? Probably worth about $25 million a year, the way they're throwing out contracts. Now let's look at him as a hitter. I don't know. Probably worth about $25 million a year, the way they're throwing out contracts. This was 2 years ago. I'm telling you right now, double nickel. He's going to make Sammy Hagar. I don't see how he gets a penny less.
How long's the deal going to be for?
8. I think he's getting 8 for $440. Here's the only thing I want to look up. What's the value of Trout's contract? Because he's certainly going to make the most per year. But his agent's going to want to make sure he also signs the richest contract in baseball history. And I thought Trout's contract was in the 430s. But then again, he might get longer than 8. I mean, Judge just got 9. But I think he's making 55 a year. I think he's making at least 440. 8 for 55 would be my offer if I were the Dodgers, Mariners, or Giants. But I have to make sure that what I'm offering him is more than the total value of Trout's contract. I know it's going to be more per year. I mean, with the first digit, no one's making more than Scherzer and Verlander, who are both making 43.
Right.
And change.
Trout's making like 37 a year.
But it's the total value. And so whatever that is, you got to make sure that Ohtani, you know how agents are, this has to be a total win. I'm signing the richest contract in baseball history, not just the biggest AAV. So I'm thinking 8 for 55. That's 440. Now, he's probably not going to pitch the whole 8 years. You got to figure at some point he wears his pitching out. So, this is like the Judge deal. The last few years of this are not going to go well. They're just not. You think I'm nuts?
Oh, no. I'd sign him. I'd do this deal, and I don't like big, long-term Major League Baseball contracts. I'd want to be sitting down with his agent now.
Apparently, he has no interest. The Angels have tried. And he's just like, no, I'm good.
No. I mean, if I were one of the other teams, I would be cheating free agency, David.
I'll tell you what, though. When you're offering $55 million a year, I don't think you have to cheat. I think you can wait till it's time. Are we allowed to make an offer? This is legal? Okay. Get him on the phone. Yeah, 55 per. You heard me. 55 per. 8 years, 440. What do you say?
Couldn't give it to him fast enough.
He is something. He's Babe flipping Ruth. He's leading the American League in home runs right now, too. He's leading Major League Baseball because Alonso got hurt. Think about that. He's an all-star caliber pitcher, although he went through a rough patch here until his last start. But he's an all-star caliber pitcher, and he is a force at the plate. Left-handed slugging outfielder. Mm-hmm. Right.
It's 24 home runs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He hits bombs, too, like moonshots.
He hit one to left center in Toronto the other day. They're like, that's the farthest opposite field home run we've ever seen here.
He's hitting 300.
The stolen bases one.
Which has him tied for 7th in the American League.
Just whatever.
He's tied for 2nd in hits in the American League. He leads the league in home runs and runs batted in.
Right. Yep.
He's 5th in runs scored.
The most hilarious one is the fact that he leads his team in stolen bases. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Oh, I didn't even have that.
He's 2nd in the league in strikeouts in the American League.
But that's not as a hitter, right? That's as a pitcher.
That's as a pitcher.
Right. Okay. You have to qualify here. He does both. I'm telling you, this is NBA players are going to be impressed with the Ohtani contract. They're going to go, wow, that's a Supermax deal. That's pretty cool. What position does he play? Is he a wing? Not exactly, guys. I mean, who would you rather have, Bradley Beal or Ohtani?
Seriously.
Going to be making around the same.
That shows you where basketball salaries are.
Uh-huh. But I really think, Mark, I think he's going to take Major League Baseball salaries, and the other owners will say, well, yeah, he's an aberration. He does both. So don't tell me, whoever the next group of guys are that all, are going to become free agents. And don't tell me you should make 45 and 50. You don't pitch. I think Judge's 40 per is going to be out there for a little while. Not sure there's going to be an everyday player that's going to get more than 40. Even Juan Soto in a year and a half. Not sure he's going to make more than that. But I'm not playing around. 8 for 440, 55 per. That's my offer. How do you want to break this down? Right. How do you want to break this down? 30 for one, 25 for the other. Which do you want to be which? $25 million pitcher? Fine. He's a $30 million hitter. Listen, what happens when his agent laughs at 55 and goes, actually, we've done the metrics here. If Judge is making 40, he should make 40. And now let's talk about his pitching. I mean, what happens when his agent argues he should be making 65?
How do you argue against it?
No.
Because he's going to be able to put up literally actual value contracts with his players' numbers right below them for a pitcher and a hitter. And it's not close.
I mean, it's going to be something if the Angels make the playoffs. And everybody's going to go, well, he's the American League MVP and he's starting game 1.
I hope they make the playoffs.
I hope they go on a run. I think it'd be awesome. Seriously. It's not a poll question, but is 55 million, I can't believe I'm saying these words, is 55 million enough?
21,000's the text line. 21000. What would you pay Ohtani? What do you think's fair? I mean, how about that one? If you're the agent, just write down what you think's a fair number.
There you go. Write down what you think's fair.
And just to help you, I've got the top 5 hitter contracts and the top 5 pitcher contracts right here. So you tell me,
right,
based on his body of work, right, what you think is fair.
Yeah. We'll get back to you.
Don't worry, there's 7 other teams I'm going to ask the same question to.
Show me the money.
Like we've never seen before in the sport.
And when his agent goes, hey, Moulton, why are you stopping at 8 years? Judge got 9. I think my guy should get 9. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for waking up with us. Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. e-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
No, Ambien, I do think the Mets will be in on him. The quote unquote, the word is he wants to stay out west.
Watch out for Seattle.
Totally. Totally. Trout's contract, by the way, was $426.5 million. So you figure you got to offer him $44 million per, because he has to make the most of anybody, and he has to have a total contract that is more than $427 million. So you have to figure that's what your minimum offer has to be. He's 29, by the way, in July. In 3 weeks, he turns 29. RCB, do you know how different his life gets if he were to go east? They really care about baseball every day, all year. You can turn on WFAN in New York on a Tuesday in December, and they're talking about who should play second for the Yankees. During Rangers, Devils, Islanders, Knicks, Nets, Jets, Giants season.
Bless you.
That story I sent you, is that going to make the GBU or no? Okay. Do you want to use that anecdote now?
Sure.
Can I make 1 point and then you go to the anecdote and then we'll go to Felipe?
Sure.
30 seconds. 10 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Ron Sirak to wrap up the U.S. Open, coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Matt Murschel, Pat Garrity join us next hour as well. Lot to sink our teeth into on this Monday, this Juneteenth, the day after Father's Day. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day when to wrap up the show. The Clutch Vodka Play of the Day coming up in a half dozen minutes. Hey, just to wrap up the Ohtani conversation that we had last segment. By the way, Trout signed, his extension on top of his current deal. It totaled $427 million, give or take. So you got the two pitchers on the Mets making 43 and change, and you got Trout's contract being 427. So just, at the minimum, he's got to get offered 44 a year, and his contract's got to be worth 440 million. So a minimum offer to not insult his agent would be 10 for 440. And I still think they'd laugh at you.
Yeah, I was thinking 9 for 450.
Okay. So one other thing, though. You remember how you and I, Major League Baseball with the pitch clock and, rule changes, what's next? And we said, how about at the end of games? Ninth inning, maybe. I'm willing to go eighth and ninth inning. But you're like, no, only the ninth inning. This is a crazy blankety-blank idea, David. Let's just do it in the ninth inning, see how it goes. But if you're paying Trout and Ohtani and Rendon and, in
Judge
theory.
And on and on and on.
All right. Don't you want them up in the ninth? I mean, once again, in theory, unless most everybody in the lineup bats 4 times, if you're having a good day at the plate, you can get your top hitters to have 5 at-bats. I mean, for what you're paying the top of that order, don't you want to see them get 2 more at-bats a game than the guy hitting 230 in the 7-hole? Don't you want to see Randy Arozarena and Wander Franco get a 6th at-bat versus the 7-hole hitter only getting 4? I mean, at some point, don't the owners just go, well, why am I spending all these money on these guys if they're getting the same number of at-bats as my 8-hole hitter? This doesn't make any sense. We don't limit the basketball stars from how many times they can touch the ball down the stretch. We don't say to the quarterback, you had 60 snaps. Got to put somebody else in. I'm just wondering, Mark, when Ohtani gets the contract that he's getting, isn't that owner going to say, I'd kind of like him up in the 9th inning every day?
Well, was it on Manfred Sheet?
Yes, I thought it was, because he openly talked about we have to do something about the end of our games.
So I think it's coming. I do. Something's coming. Manfred's changing this game dramatically. And the ends of games are not that climatic.
It's a simple question. If you're watching an Angels game, even if you're rooting against them, don't you want to see Ohtani come up in the 9th? Is this like Rory McIlroy trying to win a major, and then we get to the 18th hole and we go, Rory, you know what? Good day so far. Okay, you're 2 under, you got a 1-shot lead, just like to hold it there. Hey, grab somebody have him play 18. Have him finish this sucker off. Now, Rory can't play all 18. No.
I thought you were going to bring in a designated putter for Scheffler.
Well, that could be you, Mark. That's how badly he's putting. All right, just a thought. I'm just wondering, once we start paying guys, Judge is making $40 million. You don't think Hank Steinbrenner or Hal or, I forget which one's still with us and which one has passed. My apologies. Okay, you don't think Steinbrenner wants to see Judge up in the 9th inning every game? I'm paying him $40 million. I mean, the whole pro sports is about what, Mark? What's the number one thing that pro sports is about?
Well, now, I don't know if that's the answer you want, but it's the television product.
It's money.
And that's the television product.
Yes, pro sports about money. Number 2 is winning. Pro sports is about money. That's number 1, first and foremost. Don't let the owners ever tell you it's about something different. And if they're spending all this money on their star players, don't you think they want them to play more?
And the television networks who are spending all the money to have the rights to this, don't you think they want the star players on TV more?
Doesn't matter if Ohtani's 0 for 5 in the first 8 innings. Doesn't matter.
It's why yesterday's U.S. Open will do a really good number. Not because Wyndham Clark won the damn thing. He sounds like he's a record label, for crying out loud.
That's good.
That's well played.
Well, there was Wyndham Hill years ago. It was kind of like the
Nice.
world music and things of that nature. So that's all I was thinking of yesterday was Wyndham Hill instead of Wyndham Clark. But it'll do a good number. Why? Because Rory was right there.
Yeah, and it was close. So that's all. Just a thought.
Time now for our Clutch Vodka play of the day. Felipe, you have a weekend to choose from. What did you give us?
Well, I really wanted to choose the Marlins winning last night since they're 10 games over 500 for the first time since 2011. But there was an inside the park home run in college baseball last night. Oral Roberts down 2. Matt Hogan.
2-1. Hits it to the backside and struck well to left with Shelnut back at the wall and off the wall. Quinn races around and scores. Matt Hogan goes for the plate. Inside the park home run. It's a 2-run ball game.
But the efforts weren't enough as Florida takes down Oral Roberts 5-4. And that's your Clutch Vodka play of the day.
Like the text we got over the weekend, when your football team sucks, you watch 9 innings of college baseball. I wonder who you were talking about, sir. I wonder who you were talking about. That's our Clutch Vodka play of the day. That's Clutch with a K.
Gators had a good weekend. Baseball team's 2-0 in Omaha. They got 4 4-star or better recruits to commit to them over the weekend in football. Talk to Matt Murschel about that coming up next hour.
How much College World Series did you watch over the?
Very little. The games take too long. I'm sorry. I'm now spoiled with the pitch clock in baseball. Games take too long. Okay. The World Series has been amazing, though. I mean, every game but one, I think, has been a 1-run game. We've had 3 comebacks in the bottom of the 9th inning. The World Series has been tremendous. But no, I can't watch it. Now, I'll watch it beginning probably Wednesday. The Gators will be playing either TCU or Oral Roberts. You know, we're down to the semis, basically. You know, Florida with 2 chances to win once to make the finals, that whole deal. I'll start watching on Wednesday.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough, but you're right. It's been a terrific tournament. A lot of drama in this one and a little inside the park home run to get things going for Oral Roberts to make it a game last night, but Florida able to hang on. As you pointed out in the starting 5, some mismanagement of coaching.
Yeah, too many mound visits. Umpires walk out and go, sir, you got to take your closer out. Oh, what the hell for? You went out here too many times. What? No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, it's not that hard to count, actually. Once you get to 2, he's got to come out. Too many mound visits. Okay. So
they have to take their closer out, but still get the win.
Yep.
And now they're on the right side of the winners bracket, looking to get to the College World Series final. We will switch gears and start talking a little more U.S. Open. Ron Sirak will join us coming up in a little bit, the 8 o'clock hour, with Matt Murschel and Pat Garrity. Also, a lot of guests coming up. Your text at 21,000 is the number if you want to text the show about anything that we've talked about before. Ron Sirak to wrap up things from the Los Angeles Country Club and the U.S. Open. That's next right here on the Florida Sports Network. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, but Adam, those good times all came from Urban, though. And, you guys hate Urban. I mean, 2 national championships, I can understand why you hate him. God, what are we missing? Gator fan, we don't get it. It's the SEC. Like, what wouldn't you do to win? So he was a blankety blank. So what?
Did you see, and I doubt you did because you don't watch the highlight shows anymore. Did you see the kid throw the Red Sox game? Guy catches the ball, gives it to a kid throws it back onto the field.
I saw it on Twitter, yeah.
Then the brother throws a nutty.
Yep.
Then they basically fight. So the Red Sox reward the horrible behavior by giving him a jersey and baseballs. Act like a petulant child and get treated like royalty. This is the example we're setting right now. It's awful.
Now, granted, I'm an only child, and I only had one child. So I don't understand the whole, brothers, sisters thing. But I just know how I was as a parent. If I had 2 kids and they were fighting in public like that, we would have been gone. Gone. I would have grabbed them by the scruff of their necks if I had to and physically removed them from the ballpark. We're done. This is over. You guys ruined it. We're going home.
Bingo.
You could throw the biggest tantrum between the stands and the car either. I don't care. We're out of here.
My favorite part is that the mom wasn't there for the first part of it. The mom comes back with drinks. Did you notice that?
I did not. That's when he goes, well, you picked a good time to go get drinks. Ambien? is going to shock you. I think Miller and Moulton are both going with the same team. I think we're both going with Seattle.
I like the fact that Clark, after the third round, said, too, they're playing way too late. What are we doing playing in the dark?
He's 100% right. Although the one thing I would say to him is the network is paying you guys, or the USGA, $93 million a year. That's why this is the biggest purse in major championship golf. So I would just take it easy. They know they screwed up. They won't go this late next time, but just chill out, okay?
Bull. I think he's allowed to say it. He didn't go nuts. He didn't make it the...
No. Just like the guys...
He didn't make it about him, too. He said, I think Ricky bogeyed 18 because he's putting in the dark. It's not easy. I think it's got to be pointed out because you don't tell... One thing I didn't realize until, when, some of these nights, when they actually show the wide shot, how light the cameras can actually make it. It's far darker than what we think it is.
Ron's on hold. So what time was the last putt made Eastern time?
Didn't they go to 11 o'clock on Saturday?
On Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, they went to, I thought, even a few minutes after 11.
Well, yeah, I was at a bar Saturday night watching live U.S. Open golf. It was crazy.
Wow.
Ten seconds.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Matt Murschel to talk some college sports at the top of the hour. Pat Garrity. It's already major NBA trade. Hell, the finals weren't even over a week ago. Talk to Pat Garrity about that and other things in the association coming up 1 hour from now. Friend of the show, Ron Sirak, kind enough to join us once again. He from the Golf Channel and RonSirak.com, SIRAK.com. Follow him on Twitter at Ron Sirak. Ron, good morning. Belated happy Father's Day. Hope you had a good weekend. We'll throw it in underhanded here, sir. Your thoughts on the Open?
When we had 262s on Thursday, and everybody was like saying, "Oh my goodness, this course is just not going to be up to it. It's going to be they're going to go a billion lower." I was sort of looking at it and thinking, I'd take 12 under par and sit in the clubhouse right now, because if anything I've learned from the 29 U.S. Opens I've been at, the golf course just gets harder as the week goes on. And part of that is because the pressure gets more intense as the week goes on. And that was the most impressive thing to me of what we saw on Sunday, was the way Wyndham Clark, when the wheels started coming off for him around number 8, and this tournament was won, in my mind, 8, 9, 10, and 11, in that stretch in there, when he was struggling and he put the wheels back on. And that's a really hard thing to do in golf, is to right the ship when it's starting to list a little.
What kind of grade do you give the course at the end of the day, Ron? It was, tough sledding coming in for everybody. There was some good scores early, but what did you think of the venue and how it's set up at the end of the day?
I thought it was a real major championship venue. I loved the drivable par 4, number 6. I love what they did with number 15. Played it as at 81 yards one day, and then on Sunday it played at 137. It shows again the best par 3s in all of golf are short holes. They're holes when players have scoring clubs in their hand. The only thing that was a little anticlimactic to me, those last 3 holes were so difficult. You sort of know those holes weren't going to be won with birdies; they were going to be lost with bogeys down the stretch. I like having a par 5 in the mix over the last few holes where somebody could pick up a couple of strokes. But other than that, I thought the course did very, very well. It's got that recent trend look that they're trying to do with golf, which is brown is the new green, where they've let the rough become a native area and not well-maintained rough. And you saw how difficult that was to play out of.
Yeah, I think they said that in the last 3 holes all day Sunday, there were 12 total birdies. So obviously, and that was on all 3 holes combined. So clearly tough sledding down the stretch. Ron Sirak, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Your thoughts on Ricky Fowler? You know, the 62 on Thursday, follows it up with 68, 70, kind of a tough break playing in the dark Saturday night. He just looked to me, Ron, like a guy on Sunday who was never comfortable, and it was probably the moment probably won.
Yeah, he played his way out of it early. He bogeyed 3 of the first 7 holes, and what we saw is sort of what's been going on with Ricky for a while now, which is the putter, which had behaved very well for him for the first 54 holes, just sort of decided not to show up on Sunday, and those 5-6 footers that you need to make to win a U.S. Open, and that he made the first 3 days, he all of a sudden started missing, and I think that you saw, while the magnitude of the moment was not too big for Wyndham Clark, it got too big for Ricky, and it's something that we saw in his career, even when he was at the top of his game. Is he's had trouble closing out tournaments.
The front 9 was there for scoring. Rory never really got it done, and a lot of times they blame Rory for his putting. I thought his iron play was a little off, Ron. He just didn't seem to hit too many shots where he had great looks at birdie yesterday.
Yeah, he only made 1 birdie, and that was on the first hole. He made that birdie on 1, then he made that 12 pars in a row, and then made that what was the sort of disaster for him, the bogey on the par 5 on the back 9. You just can't do that when you've got the distance advantage that he's got off the tee. This course wasn't a great course for Rory because he was only using his driver about 4 or 5 times around out of the 13 tee shots there. He had to use less than driver more often than not to keep the ball in play. So it sort of took the strength of his game away. The strength of his game is the guy is, when he's got the A game with the driver, he's the best driver of the golf ball I've ever seen. And that was negated a little bit, but he shot a solid 70 on in the closing round, but he didn't make the key shots when he needed to make it. And you're right, he didn't give himself a lot of really good looks at birdies. He was sort of seemed to be content to just hit greens, take his 2 putts, and move on.
2 of the last 4 majors, he's led the field in greens in regulation and has finished a shot back both times. That's tough to do, Ron.
Yeah, there's being on the green, and then there's being in the right place on the green. And I think what we saw yesterday is hitting greens, but not giving himself those kind of looks that you can convert on. And this is not really surprising. The only people who made moves yesterday of any significance were too far back for it to matter. Tommy Fleetwood, Cam Smith, Minwoo Lee shot, round. We had Fleetwood with a 63, and then we had a couple of 67s in there with Cam and Minwoo Lee. But those people who were in the last couple of groups up there, we had 3 70s, and then Ricky shot 75. There was nobody up there that was really felt comfortable enough to go out and try to attack that golf course. I don't know if it was the kind of golf course you could attack. I think it was the kind of place that you needed to stay out of that fescue, that's for sure.
Would have been nice to see Scheffler make a putt at one point to see if he could have put some pressure on anybody. What would you tell Scotty Scheffler right now? Because obviously no one's hitting the ball better, Ron, and his putter just doesn't agree with him.
Yeah, he putted better than he has been putting. That said, he could have easily won that golf tournament yesterday. He could have easily put more pressure on Wyndham Clark and made him feel it even more. I mean, look, Wyndham Clark had only played in 6 major championships before this and had missed the cut 4 times. So this was not a stage that he was real comfortable with. He wanted a tough golf course at Quail Hollow just a few weeks ago, but this stage, this whole experience was new for him, and Scotty's been on it a lot the last 2 years. But there seem to be encouraging signs with Scheffler. He's changed his putter, and it looked like he putted better than he has been putting the last few weeks.
Yeah, more on Wyndham Clark here. He's the 5th consecutive U.S. Open winner to win and have that win be his first major championship. He's actually 7 of the last 8, Ron, if you go all the way back to DJ in 2016 and Koepka in 2017. Now, those are 2, Hall of Fame golfers, and obviously Rahm a couple years ago, who's going to be a Hall of Fame golfer, but that's usually something we used to see at the PGA, Ron. Okay, I don't ever remember the U.S. Open having a stretch like this where, hey, my first major is going to be a U.S. Open. Usually you got to win a PGA or something before you've got the medal to win an Open.
Yeah, and I think part of this that we're seeing is, one of the turnarounds for Wyndham Clark was that he started working with a sports psychologist, and that's really has enabled him to unleash his talent. A U.S. Open, to win a U.S. Open, you not only have to have the golf skills, you not only have to be incredibly talented, you have to have that mental discipline. You have to be patient. You have to be able to know when bogey is a good score. And we saw that from him with a really great bogey on number 8. That could have been a really huge number there. And I think he represents this new breed of golfer who's coming along, and they are getting more help with the mental side of the game, and that translates to the U.S. Open as well as probably better than in any other major championship, because you don't usually get really, really low winning scores in the U.S. Open. Par's a good score around there, so you need that grit and that discipline to not let the big number creep into your score, and to accept the fact that, I think on Sunday, Wyndham Clark made 4 bogeys, but he made 4 birdies to equal that out. And he made sure that his worst score on any hole was a bogey.
And some great up and downs over the course of the day. But how much, Ron, do you think the lack of, there was not the crowds that you normally have at U.S. Open. There's far less tickets. There's a lot of suites. There wasn't the big grandstand at 18. How much do you think some of those things helped him, that it just didn't seem to have the same pop as a normal major with the way they limited the crowds?
Yeah, there was a way in which this almost felt like a one of the COVID tournaments, that there wasn't that same sort of intensity out there. They did the same thing when they played in 2013. They had the Open at Marion, and they because of the small footprint of that golf course, they limited ticket sales to 20,000 people. Some of the stories that I was hearing coming out of LA Country Club is not only did they limit ticket sales, but a lot of members bought up tickets and didn't use them. Just so it was a way smaller crowd. And I think that probably played to his advantage. It probably turned down the heat a little bit on Sunday, but still, it's the U.S. Open, and he knew what was on the line, and he knew what he had to get done, and that grit and that resolve that he showed from number 8 on, where he made a bunch of good par saves coming in, really. He deserved this tournament. He went out and he won it. It was there for Rory. Rory just needed to make a couple of birdies coming in, couldn't do it, made that disastrous bogey on a par 5. But Wyndham Clark shot got 70 on Sunday, and that'll win you a U.S. Open a lot if you've got the lead going in.
All right, a month from now, they go to Hoylake. Rory won there, and we all know 9 years now. All right, do you think he can? It just, to me, Ron feels like, man, he knows, man, if I don't win at Hoylake, I got 9 more months before I got another chance. It'll be 10 years. I just feel as if, man, there's going to be a lot on Rory's shoulders at Hoylake.
Yeah, there is, and that was I was at Hoylake for that tournament, and he had his A game with the driver that week, man. He just hit some incredible tee shots out there. I liked what I heard from Rory sort of all week at LA Country Club, but particularly after the tournament was over. There was one day when he didn't talk to the media, and he just sort of said, "Leave me alone." But he's not frustrated by this yet, and certainly going into a place where he's won before, you'll feel comfortable. You'll feel comfortable there, and he's going to get all the questions that he didn't want to answer this past week, which is, why has it been 9 years, and how's that affecting you? But I thought that some of the weaknesses in his game, particularly from 100 yards in, that he's improved in that area. It's still not where it needs to be, but and I think for him that the pressure, it hasn't worn him down yet, and he's going to be in the mix again. We're going to see him. We're going to see him on the leaderboard and in contention on Sunday at Hoylake. It's just a question of closing it out.
Ron, as always, appreciate your time. I know you got some traveling coming up here. Safe travels. A bunch of majors on the women's and men's side over the next few weeks. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you down the road, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Ron Sirak, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. 100-1 Wyndham Clark was. Second biggest dog, if you will, to win the U.S. Open in the last 15 years. Lucas Glover in 2009 was 150-1.
Some remarkable up and downs, even though he made bogeys.
Oh, yeah. He had like 6 quality up and downs Sunday, and 2 of them were for bogey. But
when you know you're pulling every iron, and to get that out of your system, to hit it on the green on 18 was important, but I thought a terrific job getting up and down several times.
I wish NBC had given us more time before that up and down on 17. He had just gone bogey, and he's facing a chip here in which he knows, if I don't get this up and in, I'm probably going to lose.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
By the way, something over the weekend. Did you see Miami? The Canes announced their Ring of Honor class of 2023.
I did not.
Chuck Foreman, which is like, wait a minute. How the hell did you not? What? You waited this long? Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Erickson, which also kind of begs the question. What?
Why do you even have these things? Like, seriously, why do you have them?
Jimmy coached his last game 35 years ago. It took you guys this long? Well, Hops, that's all Jerry's pettiness. And there have been quite a few guys from that era that have given Jerry a hard time
That's
about
on
it.
hold. We're coming back.
And Jerry doesn't care. But yeah, very petty.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it's the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. The bonus hours, an hour away in the 239, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Pat Garrity to talk about the impending Big Bradley Beal trade coming up in about 40 minutes' time. Matt Murschel's kind enough to join us once again. He covers college football and college sports, really, for the Orlando Sentinel. Follow Matt on Twitter at OS Matt Murschel. That's MURSCHEL. Matt, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning to you guys.
Listen, you guys at the Orlando Sentinel first reported on this 5 weeks ago, but it struck us on Friday that UCF had to go before a public tax, advisory committee board. And they're like, listen, we want public money. Usually this is reserved for pro teams, isn't it? Has this happened very often in college sports?
It has a little bit here and there. I mean, I know that there's I think University of North Florida used tourism tax money to fund some of its, to build some of its facilities. I think it was a volleyball or a track and field facility several years ago. But this is the first time that UCF has gone before, the Orange County Tourism Task Force and asked for, the idea of using tourism money to help, fund some of its athletic village, its facilities. And it's an interesting get for UCF AD Terry Mahajer, who is, as the school gets ready to move into the Big 12, next month, they've got a big plan to try to build this, huge, massive, I think it's $260 million athletic facility upgrade. And, they're doing it through the usual way, which is actually boosters and donors to help contribute to it. But then they came up with this idea of let's try to see if we can get the tourism money. And they believe that with going into the Big 12, they're going to bring tourism dollars to the community with, fans coming in from all over the country to take part in not just football, but basketball and their other sports as well. So this is why they're asking for it. This fund can only be used to promote arts and sports and tourism in that area. And I know there's some people who are upset by the fact that, this money doesn't go to infrastructure, but that's kind of the way this has been set up. And, UCF wants to take advantage of that and see if they can get that approval and move forward with their big project.
What type of shot do they have, Matt? This is a pretty good chunk of change. They're asking for $170 million over 10 years. Is this something, do they think they're going to get? What type of response did they get? And how long is this process going to take before we find out?
Yeah, listen, it could be anyone's guess, honestly. UCF is one of, I think it was 50 groups that have, asked to go before the task force to request money. It's all sorts of things. It's, there's money for the convention center where we host all these, conventions in the area. The Camping World Stadium has requested over $800 million, to continue to finish up its upgrades and to possibly build a dome, sort of like dome canopy roof over it. Pat Williams, the former, Orlando Magic's GM, he's asked for $900 million, to possibly build a baseball stadium here in Orlando, so there are lots of different things that people have requested for the task force, so, I think the thing that kind of benefits UCF is the idea that they didn't go after all the money that's, to finish this project. They went after about, a little over half of it, and they're trying to get some of it, done over a 10-year period. Again, I think it's an interesting way to kind of go forward with something like this for UCF, because you do believe that you maybe can help, boost some tourism in the area. I think the hurdle they're going to face is, there are people who are pro sports and there are people who are probably anti sports. And some people are going to look at that figure and say, wow, that's a lot of money to spend to bring, Big 12 fans here to Orlando. But, again, you're talking about something over a 10-year period. You're not talking about, getting the money right off the bat. So they've got a decent shot. And the task force isn't the final decision makers. They're just hearing, and they're going to make their recommendations to the Orange County commissioners. The Orange County commissioners then will sit forward and kind of look and see what's going on, and they'll make the final decision. I think it's supposed to be sometime after July, or they'll come down with the final decision. So at this point, listen, UCF figures we got a shot. Let's go ahead and go for it and see what happens.
He's Matt Murschel of the Orlando Sentinel. He covers college sports, college football, UCF specifically. Follow him on Twitter, OS Matt Murschel, MURSCHEL. How ready is UCF? The dream is coming true in less than 2 weeks. How ready is UCF as a department, from football all the way through to baseball, softball? How ready are they for the Big 12? Because this just in some of those sports, the Big 12 is really good.
Yeah, I think they're as good a position as they can be in right now. When you look at the 4 schools that are joining, I think, actually competitiveness on the field, I think they're right there with the Big 12. I think they can go in and compete with most of the schools in the Big 12 right now. I think where the challenge comes from is financially. You look at the fact that, they're coming from the American, the American was averaging about, $7 to $10 million a year in media rights distribution that each school received. You look at what the Big 12 schools were getting. They're getting anywhere between, $35 to $50 million a year. So, the money is just different, and I think talking to Terry Mahajer a couple weeks ago, they're about $40 million off, when it comes to their athletic budget. So he understands that it's going to be a challenge over the next, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to get their athletic budget up to speed. And they don't get full shares either when they first get there this year. Those 4 schools don't get full shares until 2026. So it's still going to be a little bit of a challenge until they get in there. So they've been ramping up their fundraising. They're ramping up their NIL. They're trying to find a way to get to be at the same level they're going to be at. But they admit, listen, there's going to be some challenges in year 1 and year 2. But once they get through those growing pains, they feel like they're right there. They feel like, based on the success they've had over the last, 5, 10 years, they should be right there as well. Most of their sports, it's going to take, work. And as I mentioned, obviously with this tourism dollar thing, they've got to upgrade some facilities. They feel like they can get them to put them in a spot where they're going to be right there. But I think that's the challenge for any school that makes the leap from, a group of 5 to a Power 5 conference.
I never like to buy into the whole tourism dollars thing for sports because I don't think it works quite the way people do. But I do think UCF's in an unusual spot, being in the Orlando area, being in a new conference, that they're going to be kind of I don't know about the darlings, but I think that it seems to me just from afar that this tax dollar idea is not that far-fetched, Matt.
No, it's not really. And it's not. And I tell people this, it's not just for UCF sports. I mean, the pitch that Terry Mahajer made was, listen, we upgrade these facilities, then we can host things outside of, college athletics. We can host, United States tennis or United States soccer. We can have, the soccer team come to town and they can practice at our facilities. We can rent out our football stadium for the Hula Bowl, and we can rent out for other avenues. We can rent out our track and field for track and field events. We can do, tennis. We can build a tennis facility that, then we can rent out that as well. So it's not specifically just, okay, it's going to be ours, alone. They feel like we can make money on this benefit, and we can also provide, bring in other avenues that can, fill up the hotels and get people out in restaurants and take advantage of our wonderful, weather here in Orlando. So, I think that's a good pitch for them, because I think it's not just saying, okay, we're just going to use this exclusively for NCAA stuff. So it's going to be interesting. Terry Mahajer talked to me about how, he looked into this for a while. When he was at Arkansas State, they kind of looked at it at Arkansas, how they were able to use it. The school can't use any state funding to upgrade its facilities. This is really the only way outside of fundraising itself that they can really get this kind of money to help themselves out. So it's going to be interesting. And I think even if they don't get the whole amount, if they get partial amount, I think it's a huge win for them. And if they don't get anything, Terry told me, listen, we're going to continue to move forward with fundraising, and maybe, who knows, in several years, we'll come back at it and see what happens. So It's interesting. It's an interesting way for them to kind of move forward, especially getting into the Big 12.
Matt, final question. We got about 2 minutes. The talk in the Senate by Tuberville and by Mencken and their NIL proposal, which apparently they're getting directly from certain prominent coaches and ADs and presidents. Is it going to work? I mean, can NIL be legislated, Matt? We're a capitalistic society. If you know, I mean, can NIL be legislated and regulated?
You know, I think it can be. You know, the problem I have and the problem I hear from a lot of people is that they just don't feel the federal government cares about NIL at this point. You know, you may have, you know, a couple senators here or there and people are putting out bills and things like that. But if you look at what's going on in our country right now and you know, the challenges our federal government faces, and does NIL seem like one of those challenges that everyone's kind of clamoring outside of the sports community? And I'm just not sure if that's the case right now. And, you know, I think also you're right. You know, if you come in with the federal government, you come in with your own set of rules, you're going to have to create your own probably federal body that's going to have to regulate what's going on with NIL. And you know, you've got all these states now who have their own legislation. You've got all these schools who prefer this and that. There's going to be lawsuits. There's going to be people going after each other. I mean, this is just a mess. And you know, Charlie Baker, the new NCAA president, was in Orlando last week, and he spoke about this. And he said, "Listen, the NCAA had a chance to do something about this several years ago, and they didn't. They dropped the ball on it. And now we're at this point where it's just become this quagmire when it comes to trying to figure out how do you make things work." I think most likely what's going to end up happening is individual conferences are going to step in and find a way to kind of set their own, you know, regulations and how they want their schools to kind of work when it comes to NIL. But that still doesn't help the challenge when it comes to, you know, regulation. You know, what is right and what is wrong. And you're seeing the IRS now kind of getting involved in that. Maybe that'll be part of this, figuring out what collectives can and cannot do, you know. But until then, you know, I find it hard to believe, you know, listen, I think it's a great idea. I think, you know, if you can push forward a bill and you can get through, it's a great idea. But I think it's going to be too much of a challenge over the next couple of years. And I just think that it is the only way that's going to be able to fix this. But at this point, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case.
Matt, thanks for making time for us. We appreciate your time and your insight. All the best. Hopefully we can catch up right before UCF begins Big 12 play.
Look forward to it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Matt Murschel of the Orlando Sentinel. Follow him on Twitter, OS Matt Murschel, MURSCHEL. Matt Murschel joining us.
Super interesting concept for UCF. Basically saying we don't have the alumni to get the money that we think we do, but the tourism dollars are there and getting their hand out for them. It's not huge money.
Well, no, he was mentioning, you know, the Magic are asking for this. The stadium's asking for this. Pat Williams is asking for this. Well, they're asking for like pennies on the dollar compared to what all those entities are asking for. Miller and Moulton. Pat Garrity in 25 minutes.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So you want to wrap up some of the things Matt talked about and then get to that fishing thing?
Yeah.
He did, Sonny. He did get his dad a card. But Felipe tried to make it sound as if, guys, the reaction I got had nothing to do with the card. Honestly, he made it sound as if it was a waste of money.
He's a simple guy.
Yeah, I know.
He's with his family. It's enough.
Dads are simple. Okay. By the way, do you know who else it scored points with? Mom.
There you go.
Dad may go, this is nice. She didn't have to spend the money. Mom would be like, that's how we raised our son right there. That's right. Show respect for your elders. Our fearless leader ever get back to you?
No.
Well, you only have money for him. I mean, why would he be interested? I did not watch the trophy presentation. Sorry. Oh my goodness, Logic Man. What are they? 15-2? Their last 17, something like that? Ever since they got swept by the Mets, they've been best team in the National League. Yeah, but Logic Man, the Rays split their 4-game series in Oakland, so I didn't think he was done when he bogeyed the short par 3. I just thought that now we still had a tournament. I thought if he just parred the par 3 that he might have been able to bogey in and still win. Like, Rory still had to par the last 3 holes, which was no guarantee. I was surprised Rory didn't hit a better shot into 18. Weren't you, Mark? I mean, that wasn't that hard. Easy for me to say, but I mean, compared to the shots, I thought he'd get closer than 40 feet.
I did too.
Oh, there's no doubt, Sonny. I mean, then he tries to cut his tee shot on 16 and he draws it instead, so it finds the bunker and he's got to lay up. By the way, what a third shot he hit into 16. Holy blank.
Third shot on 16, the chip on 17.
Yeah. I think his caddy was his caddy was great.
The TV did a really good job of getting their conversations.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
$21 past the hour. Pat Garrity, a little less than 20 minutes. There's going to be a big trade in the NBA, the first of many. Apparently, it's going to go down this week. Could even get more complicated. But Bradley Beal's going to Phoenix. They're going to have 4 max players. Nobody's ever had that before. Talked to Pat Garrity about that and other things. Draymond's talking about opting out. If you're the Warriors, do you move on? Lots to talk about. But we just had Matt Murschel on, Orlando Sentinel, talking college sports with a focus on UCF. First off, what do you think of them asking, if you were on that Orange County Tax Advisory Board Committee, whatever?
I'd give it to them before I'd give it to Pat Williams.
So they're asking for about $180 million over 10 years, right? 10, 12 years. They're asking for
10 years.
15,
They're asking for $17 million a year.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think, and even though you're a sports guy, you have always been more on the argument of, yeah, sports teams are taking advantage of communities here when they ask for money. That you've never believed that when the sports team makes the argument, this is our economic impact, you've always said, no.
Yeah, I've had trouble thinking those numbers are close.
Right. So here's a question, though. And obviously, we don't live in Orlando. We don't know. But this is kind of a big deal. I mean, UCF started as the little engine that could. I mean, they were a D3 school a generation ago. And now here they are. They're going to be in the Big 12 in 2 weeks. I mean, doesn't it also kind of, if you're on that board, don't you have to just go, well, how big of a deal is UCF in our, grand scheme of things here? And I wonder, Mark, if they're actually now important enough where, yeah, okay, they could get some tax revenue.
And the venture into a new conference with the idea that more teams and more cities and more people could come visit them, I actually think that there's some there. It's a story I'm very curious to see how this group in July will end up determining where these tax dollars go. And if they give any to sports, and if they do, what sports entities they decide to give them to.
Listen, college sports has never been more complicated to try and cover. We ask NIL questions of basically everybody we get on. And I know for some of you, that's like, eyes glazed over. But I don't know. We think it's only like the most important thing going forward in the future of college athletics. Until they get an answer to it, it seems as if it's a bit of a mess. But there's 3 things that happened over the weekend that I just want to quickly get to. One, did you see in the in the Michigan House, they introduced a bill that would allow college athletes to unionize? We talked about this on Friday with that NIL legislation. If Tuberville and Mencken are mandating that the NIL thing has to be directly connected to the university, well, then doesn't that take us closer to the athletes becoming employees?
100%. And I don't know how they're going to be able to split that line of not making them employees, David.
Right.
If the school's controlling the NIL and the school has to see all the contracts and can determine who and what they advertise for.
Right.
It sounds to me like an employee.
Sounds to me that the athletic department now sounds like the physics department, right? Miami announced on Friday their Ring of Honor in 2023. Chuck Foreman, what the hell took him so long? Jimmy Johnson.
What the hell took him so long?
Thank you. And Dennis Erickson.
Begging the question, what the hell took him so long? Welcome to this edition of What the Hell Took Him So Long.
Is it us? I mean, Chuck Foreman?
Are you serious?
Chuck Foreman played 50 years ago.
No offense. If he ain't in yet, what's he going in for now? And I'm not being a jerk here, David. If he hasn't made it yet, what did he do in the last decade to earn that spot?
Jimmy Johnson coached his last game 35 years ago. Are you just now realizing how good he was? How good they were? And Dennis Erickson coached his last game almost 30 years ago for the Canes. By the way, how about Jimmy? So he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. All right. Is he in the College Football Hall of Fame? I don't know if he is. And now he's getting the Ring of Honor with the Canes. Okay. Mark, is he Ring of Honor with the Cowboys?
No, sir.
No, he's not. Not that Jerry can be petty or anything. I'm not implying that at all. And the Gators, by the way, had 4 stars give them a verbal commitment over the weekend. Billy Napier, they're probably the best recruiting weekend Gators football has had in years.
And this is a monster month for the Gators going forward. They have, the camps and everything going on. This is literally the people who cover recruiting said that June was the biggest month for Florida Gator recruiting in maybe the last 5 years.
So apparently 24/7 has them a top 10 recruiting class for 2024.
Got to go off the beaten path here, David.
Okay.
I know you saw the story. We got to go to North Carolina because this could make a good, bad, and ugly, but I thought it needed a little more time than that.
Okay.
Fishing crew, big tournament. The Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament. Guys catch a 619-pound marlin.
Damn.
Would have been worth more than $3 million in prize money.
What do you mean would have been?
According to the story, it was deemed the fish was mutilated before it was landed or boated. Therefore, it was disqualified.
So
they fought it for 6 hours.
So just because some of the fish got eaten,
a shark ate some of the fish. And literally, as they're weighing the fish, the announcer says it would appear that the fish has been bitten by a shark. And all of a sudden, the prize money is gone.
So wait a minute. I mean, that should actually work. That's more impressive. The fish wasn't as heavy as it otherwise would have been. Shouldn't they get even more credit?
Apparently
the
not.
Fish and the shark.
It is consistent with past rulings and in line with the International Game Fish Association rulebook.
Shouldn't you get credit for whatever you bring to the scale?
A mutilated fish. A shark takes a bite out of a 600-pound marlin, and you lose $3.5 million.
Well, I want to get a hold of that shark. I'll tell you that. No, I'm really hunked off.
Ouch.
Damn.
That'll leave a mark.
That's got to happen a lot, though. I mean, last time I went deep sea fishing, I had a lot of trouble just getting what I'm catching to the damn boat. As I'm dragging it up, everything's going after it. It's got to happen all the time, doesn't it?
Probably. 271 boats. They were going to get $2.77 million for coming in first place and another $740,000 for the first catch of the year, more than 500 pounds. and they get bubkas.
Golly. I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me.
It really does not.
6 hours, too. It's the longest you ever fought for a fish. Mine's like 12 minutes.
Somewhere between 12 minutes and 6 hours. A lot closer to 12 minutes, though, David. Pat Garrity to talk the association. That's next on Miller and Moulton right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, maybe this is just a Twitch conversation, but so Rory's ball plugs in the bunker on 14. Isn't the bunker?
It wasn't in the bunker. They don't deem it in the bunker, though. It was in the grass above the bunker. His ball did not bury in the sand. It buried in the grass.
Right, but it's the facing of the bunker, though.
But it's considered the grass.
Okay, so therefore that wasn't considered, because a bunker's a hazard, correct?
Correct, but it's not in the bunker. The facing of the bunker is not considered the hazard. I know exactly where you're going, but you know what I'm saying? If it were, then it's just simply an unplayable.
Well, right. I was sitting there and I'm like, well, first off, why? And how does he get to? I mean, I'm sorry, that drop is moving that ball forward. That's to me was ridiculous.
Forward, but not closer to the hole.
But like you said, if it was since it was considered the grass, they were allowed to drop it in the grass. By the way, how about the break Scheffler got on the front nine? He was up against he was up against a tree.
Yeah.
He had no backswing. Okay, but they got the shot technology thing in front of him, and he gets a drop, and then he gets to place it because the ball keeps rolling further away. Oh my God. But see, that's another one where it's like, you know, Rory, you got to put that wedge on the green, for goodness sakes. I'm not a huge Dan Hicks guy, but when I was thinking, because I'm an idiot, I was thinking about Rory's going to make all those pars and Wyndham Clark's going to falter and blow this, and that's how Rory's going to win. And I was thinking Faldo Azinger, 87 British, and then when Hicks brought it up.
By the way, I thought in the first 9, Azinger, all of them did a horrible job. Another 7 pars in a row. Azinger should have came in, and that's not going to get it done. You're not going to win this tournament by making 7 pars in a row in the front 9. This is where you have to score. We've had a 29. We've had a 28. There were so many things to point out about how they were all blowing it on the front 9, and none of them had the balls to say it. Not one of them. That was my complaint with the announcing. I felt like you yesterday, David, when I'm watching going, that's great. He's made 6 pars in a row, but you got to shoot 31 on this side if you're going to win, or 32.
Azinger says to Hicks, Dan, you are killing me right now. It was interesting that, and I understand course plays harder later in the day. We all do. But it was interesting that in the last 4 or 5 groups, there literally wasn't one golfer that had a 32 on the front. They all shot between basically 34 and 36. It was like, whoa. You know, where, I mean, because Rahm shot 65 yesterday. I mean, Fleetwood 63. I mean, you know, the one guy, Tom Kim, had it going on the front, and, you know,
well, the other one, the other Minwoo Kim, I believe.
Yeah, he had it going too. I mean,
that's on hold. We're back in 45 seconds. Yeah, Logic Man, I need your fills to be on the down right now, because the Marlins keep winning and they keep winning. Just stay away, please. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes until we're out of here in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. The bonus hour awaits at the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Pat Garrity is kind enough to join us once again. 10 years in the NBA, was in the Pistons front office. He now analyzes NBA front offices for Stadium. You can follow Pat on Twitter, Pat Garrity, 2 R's, 1 T, Pat Garrity 8. Pat Garrity 8. Pat, it's David and Mark. A belated happy Father's Day. How are you?
Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me on. Good to be with you.
Well, it is our pleasure. What do you make of this proposed Bradley Beal to Phoenix deal? 4 max contracts on one team. Never mind the trade itself.
Well, it's putting the new collective bargaining agreement to the test. And I think that's going to be one of the fascinating things to watch, is that we're used to operating in an environment where you have a set of rules. You've seen how teams have used the rules before, and you have a comfort level with how things will turn out given what you do. And what makes this interesting is we're going into a new collective bargaining agreement regime where the rules have changed. They become much more harsh for high spending teams. And we don't have really a precedent or any history to see how that goes. So, you know, you could look back to the Brooklyn Nets when they went all in with Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce. And that was an all in move back then when the rules were a little more lenient. The rules are much more harsh now, and this is a much more all in move. So I think that this is going to be a fascinating team and a fascinating front office to watch how they deal. in the next year to try to put a team together, because as it stands right now, the only way, absent trading DeAndre Ayton, that they can build a team is through minimum salary contracts and minimums and second round picks. And you know, a lot of the way that the Miami Heat have built their team, but really with much fewer tools than the Heat had to deal with.
And with that being said, did they get Beal for a song? I mean, was the trade value even close to being even?
I think they did, because what makes Brad Beal, you know, such a difficult player to trade is not, you know, his talent level right now, because obviously he's a terrific player. He's an all-star level player, you know, if he can stay on the floor for a full season. But he goes out until he's 35 years old, and he's making over $50 million 4 years from now. And so when teams look at the contract and the production level that you're going to get in years 3, 4, 5 of that contract, I think that's what makes it a little bit difficult. But right now, obviously, it's not a bad deal for the Suns. Just when you look at the pieces they gave up for the production they're getting this season, I think the question becomes, what are they getting on the end of that contract, and what does it look like 3 or 4 years from now?
If you were the Heat, would you have, and we don't know that this is exactly the case, but I know a lot of Heat people were shocked that Phoenix is going to get Bradley Beal for basically Chris Paul, whom they were going to cut, Landry Shamet, and second-round picks. So the thought is, if the Heat had offered up Duncan Robinson, forget Tyler Hero, if they had just gone Kyle Lowry, an expiring contract in a year, and Duncan Robinson, financially it works, throw in some second-round picks, we got ourselves a deal. If you were the Heat, would you have offered up Duncan Robinson to get Bradley Beal?
I'm with you on that one. I thought the Heat made much more sense from a fit standpoint and from a team building standpoint. I think probably where it hinged wasn't on the second round picks. I think that there are some first round swaps potentially in there. I'd have to check on that. I suspect if that's the case, that was where it got hung up on. But no, I'm totally with you. I think from a fit standpoint, Miami made much more sense for Bradley Beal. I think the one question, and again, I don't think I would have gotten hung up on having to part ways with Duncan Robinson, but it's going to be difficult for the Heat to re-sign Max Strus. And I think you could make an argument that just from a fit, from a shooting standpoint, you know, it's going to be tough for them to add more shooting if they're not able to bring back Max Strus. And so right there, Duncan Robinson, even though I think coming into the season and he wasn't playing and he was viewed as a bad contract, I think what he showed in the playoffs is he does have a role. I think it's important to them. But if I had to guess, I think it wasn't the player. I think it probably came down more to some of the first round draft compensation.
Ja Morant suspended 25 games. The union's already come out and said it is excessive. Do you think the suspension is excessive?
It's unprecedented for sure, in the sense that it was an off-the-court issue and he didn't break any law. And look, from an optics standpoint, obviously it was horrible. Not only the fact that, you know, a firearm was involved, but the fact that it was, you know, a second offense after a first offense involving alcohol and a firearm. And so from the league standpoint, it was a horrible thing to let go and to not punish. But when you look at all the suspensions and the long suspensions that have happened over the history of the NBA, taking out things like illicit drug use, all of them involve somehow breaking a law or some sort of behavior on the court or on team facilities. This didn't involve either of them. So I would like to see the union actually appeal this and to see what an arbitrator would have to say about it. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that given this kind of suspension, Adam Silver, I'm sure, had communications both with Ja's team and probably with the Players Association saying, look, we're going to do this and we would appreciate it strongly if you didn't fight this. But I don't know. I have a little bit of trouble with this one.
Well, it's funny. We brought up that point, which is not a very popular point to bring up. which is the fact he did not technically violate an NBA rule, never mind a law. Okay, and yet you're going to suspend him pretty harshly. But it seemed as if the NBA, Major League Baseball has the best interests of the game clause, in which it allows them to basically do whatever they want. And it almost seems as if the NBA is trying to enforce that here, Pat. And now that's something David Stern would do. That's not something this commissioner has ever done before. And doesn't it basically get to, wow, they get to legislate these guys off the court as well? That's a slippery slope.
Absolutely right. First, two things. There's a great story. I think it was written by Mark Spears about how David Stern handled some of the issues with Carmelo Anthony early in his career, where, again, it was stuff off the floor away from the team, but it was getting back to the league office that potentially Carmelo Anthony was involved in things that weren't making the league too happy. And he basically called him in and threatened him and said, I know everything you do, and if you continue doing it, I'm going to ruin your career. and it stopped. That's not really Adam Silver's style. But the conduct detrimental to the league, I think that's the term that they use. I think that's a pretty it's a clause that's in every contract. It can be interpreted, I'm sure, fairly broadly. I think that's what they're going to use. They've, at least when I was working with the union as a player rep, the issue of firearms never really came up as something that the league or tried to legislate through collective bargaining. I'm a little surprised that it didn't come up this time around with some of the issues that they've had. But I think so. I think that Adam Silver is looking at this and looking at just how close the two events were to one another, how much publicity they got, the fact that it was a young superstar. And he said, look, we can't just have that. But I'm with you. It's a tough one to me, and I know that's an unpopular opinion to take. But again, no law was broken. It was on his own time. It was foolish and immature and probably dangerous if it was a real gun and it was loaded and all those things. But again, not really a precedent for this.
Would you, whether you're the Heat or whether you're Brooklyn or whoever the team is going to be, would you give up what you need to give up for Damian Lillard at this stage of his career and the contract? Lillard, I believe, will be 33 next season.
I don't know if it's Miami that would do that. I think he would be an interesting guy to me in New York, possibly. Putting together, like they had all of the pieces and more to make a Donovan Mitchell trade, and I don't think that you're going to need near as much as that to get Damian Lillard. Even though the Portland front office right now is saying, I'm sure that the price is really high. I don't really like it for Miami. I think for another team though that's kind of stuck in that middle of the Eastern Conference, and you can get a guy like Damian Lillard to come in and potentially bolt you to the top, and you have enough depth and you have some of the defensive type players around him to be a good defensive team. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't think they do it though. I don't know. I just get the feeling that, he's going to be there and they're going to try to split the difference between picking at 3 or potentially moving back and picking later in the top 10, and also trying to bring back guys like Jeremy Grant and add some players that can help them win now. And that's a really hard path to go down and be successful.
Well, they're both idiots, Lillard and the Blazers, if they choose that path, to be honest with you. No, seriously, come on. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work now. Come on. Just time to go, time to rebuild, just face reality. He's Pat Garrity, 10 years in the NBA, was in the Pistons front office, covers the league now for Stadium. Follow him on Twitter, Pat Garrity, 2 R's, 1 T, Pat Garrity 8, Pat Garrity 8. Pat, have a terrific offseason. We'll probably hit you up in about 3 weeks when all you know what breaks loose again.
Let's do it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Pat Garrity, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. By the way, very quickly, Felipe, you trading Tyler Hero 3 first-round picks for Lillard? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. because I think Brooklyn's willing to do it. They got more pieces to trade. They got more picks to trade.
Pat Riley is obsessed with Tyler Hero, though. Trying to get all these people without trading, and that's not going to happen.
I agree. The only thing about Lillard, Mark, and we talked about it earlier with the Beal deal, Beal didn't get what he normally would get because of his contract and because he had a no trade clause. Well, Lillard, for all intents and purposes, has a no trade. The Blazers are so married to him, they're not going to send him any place where he doesn't want to go. So he basically is going to control where he goes. Well, once word gets out that I'm only going to play for Mark Miller doesn't have to give up nearly as much to get him as David Moulton does.
Well, and it's not the same guy, but it's why I wonder. I see all the stuff on Zion. Are the Pelicans going to part ways? Well, here's what I'll give you, because I don't know what Zion's worth anymore. I don't know why anybody thinks that they can get a king's ransom for a guy who they don't want and he can't stay healthy, not to mention his whole off-the-court saga that's going on.
You mean to tell me the fact that he's in a max contract, which is just about to start, and he's played 29 total games the last 2 years, that bothers you?
Just a little bit. But they make it seem like there's 20 teams lined up to get Zion. Jordan sold his team. That's one less now that they can't send him to. He'd take a bad deal.
Although that's actually the big rumor. Because what is Charlotte picking second? Something like second or third. And it's like, listen, Zion to Charlotte for the second overall pick.
I don't know if I trust Zion on and off the court in Miami.
I don't know
I
if I
couldn't have
trust
him in Miami.
No.
Oh, my goodness. Too many strip joints, too
could
close.
you imagine?
No way. Of all the teams, until Vegas has a team, Miami is the worst destination for Zion.
Correct.
Can you trust him anywhere? I mean, outside of Salt Lake, seriously, can you trust him anywhere?
No.
Although I will say, if he does go to Miami, he'd have to lose some weight.
He's going to have to lose some weight no matter where he goes, even if he stays. But anyway, NBA, so I think the draft's next week. I mean, they're not even waiting for this week. It's this week?
It's on Thursday.
Unbelievable. Man, they're not waiting for anything. Hell, the Nuggets just had their parade like 4 days ago.
And Vegas just had theirs.
And by the way, they were more drunk in Vegas than they were in Denver, and they were hammered in Denver.
Yeah, and it's not close.
No.
Vegas wins that title every single time.
Yep. Plus, it's hockey players versus NBA players.
Your F-bomb chart goes way through the roof, and your drunk chart goes way through the roof. Tampa, St. Pete, Lake City, Port Charlotte, and Venice. Thanks, as always, for joining us. We'll do it again tomorrow morning as well. The bonus hour coming up in the 239. The text line, as always, is open at 21,000. Where else but right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn, Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
The parades are a city event, Joe. The team in the city coordinate it. They have to shut down streets.
But Joe, if you're asking, is it a team activity? I would say yes. From the standpoint of the players on the team, it's a team activity.
Yes, but the team is not putting on the parade. The city is how I would answer that. So I don't know if you consider Mark right or me right. By the way, the Knights were far more drunk than the Nuggets. Although the Nuggets doing the shots right there out in the open, and Mike Malone, the head coach, clearly getting knocked on his ass by the shot that he took, was outstanding television. He looked like he ate, a pepper that was too hot, and he was like immediately having trouble with it. Jokic, by the way, already back home in Serbia.
Yeah, watching the horses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Ramsey's okay with them taking it away from the fish guys, saying that taking that long to get it in the boat, that was
It's a 618-pound marlin, Ramsey. I'm not going to break. I mean, these guys won the tournament last year. I'm saying the captain's an experienced captain.
I mean, it's their water. And by there, I mean sharks.
Dockich hated Huggins, right?
Did he?
Well, based on the tweets I'm seeing, I think he didn't like him.
It's tough to know besides Bobby Knight who Dan Dockich likes. We go Huggins here because there's a lot of interesting things around this story.
You're asking the wrong guy, Joe. They play that hard all year long, and you let them rip it up one day? I've got no issue with it.
Besides, Joe, the Red Wings did everything perfectly, and they had the party inside, and they had limos for all their drivers, and one of their players gets in the limos driving home, and a drunk driver takes them out. So well, Sonny, that's the thing. I mean, my goodness, if you're a public person, to get in the car drunk and he was hammered is absurd.
We're coming back.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Bonus hour, Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Thanks so much for being with us. A belated happy Father's Day to all of you in which it applies. Today's also Juneteenth. Thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. David Sampson will join us on the show tomorrow. That we know. Everything else, we're filling in the blanks. So this Bob Huggins story. If he hadn't done the stupid thing the month earlier when he said inappropriate stuff on the air, that nearly got him fired. If it was just the DUI, you think he's out of a job?
No.
Okay.
No, I think it's the combo.
All right. And technically he resigned, but, obviously he wouldn't have resigned I don't believe, if he thought he was going to be able to keep his job. Would you have gotten rid of him if you were West Virginia? I mean, the two incidences are, because nobody's accused him of being drunk on the air when he said what he said, which was stupid and insensitive. But would you have fired your men's basketball coach, over a DUI?
Over just a DUI? No. Over the two things that happened in the matter of a month? Yes.
Okay. I thought, since it was the university in question, it's his alma mater, that they're probably not going to be able to, quote, do better than Bob Huggins, unquote. And clearly they wanted to keep him by what they did the month earlier. I thought there was a chance, Mark. I really did. A chance. Not that I would have advocated for it, but a chance that they just say to him, you're going away. You need rehab. You've been a drinker for a long time. Everybody knows it. The people who cover you know it. Okay. You got to go away. We'll deal with it down the road. We'll have an interim coach and we'll figure this out down the road. But you got to get in the car. You got to go to the facility tonight. And we'll see you whenever we see you. 30, 60, 90, 2024, whatever. You got to go. I thought there was a chance they might do that, Mark.
Well, you were the one, we were in a group text when he got in trouble for what he said on the air. And I thought he was done then. And you're like, not at West Virginia.
Right.
A lot of other schools he'd be done, but not at West Virginia.
Not West Virginia.
And they backed him.
And did you see what they did this weekend, by the way? The only release West Virginia sent out was, yeah, we're aware of the situation. We'll get back to you. That's it. Huggins resigned. Huggins sent out the release. West Virginia didn't. There's a part of me that wondered, first off, if they had done that. See, I think, his focus group, if you know what I mean. Yeah, the national columnists and everybody, it would have crushed him. But I actually think the West Virginia community, he goes to rehab. He admits I'm an alcoholic. Okay. He comes back 60, 90, however many days later. Okay. Going to try to be a changed man, what have you. I actually think his base would have welcomed him back. Now, it might have posed huge problems for the university because you're probably firing teachers and other employees over stuff they do, and you kept this guy on. But here's the other thing that I wonder. Okay, he resigned. Well, this is a tough time to leave a program. Timing. Okay, there's other coaches, who would be great candidates for this job. Yeah, but not in late June. There are people that are like,
No, you're basically almost at the point of having to hire an assistant at West Virginia to take the program over for a year because you're not going to be able to get anybody.
And with that in mind, if you're going interim coach for a year, let's just say he does the rehab thing. Let's just say he's next 9-10 months. He's, we'll do the whole thing. Changed man, the whole deal. He'll eventually sit down, do an interview with somebody. He's got a lot of friends in the national media. Oh my goodness. Okay. Jeff Goodman I think he's going to eulogize him. He loves him so much. I'm wondering, could he come back in 10 months?
It seems preposterous for you to even say that.
Okay.
Even for me.
Okay.
But I also know where you're going here. It's West Virginia. And he's one of theirs.
Yes. Yeah, 17 years assistant head coach. He's from Morgantown. He's going to live there the rest of his life. I'm wondering if they have to go the interim head coach route. And oh, by the way, all the players, they just brought in like 4 guys in the transfer portal. They all have 30 days. They can get up and leave. No questions asked. Oh, by the way.
And every college coach in the country is recruiting them right now if they want them.
If they have a scholarship.
Correct. But if there's an opening, they're getting recruited right now.
Yeah, sure. And that's another reason why, if I'm West Virginia, I don't know. He's 69. That's the other thing. Everybody said, well, he's clearly done. Really? You sure? Our president's 80. The front runner to take him out, 77. Okay. Nick Saban's 70. We sure? Bob, you sure Bob Huggins a year or two from now at 70, 71? He's a Hall of Famer, by the way. You sure? Yeah, he's a drunk. And he might not like certain people. Okay. And not just from Xavier. Yeah, he's flawed. Absolutely.
He's done.
Okay.
He's done.
Okay. Would you hire him if you were ESPN a year from now to broadcast games?
I wouldn't.
You got a Huggy Bear problem?
No, I just have an image problem.
Okay.
I don't need to hire someone who said the things that he said and then did the things that he did. Now, the Dodgers may want to hire him. He'd be perfect there.
Damn, that's funny. That's outstanding. That's going to make your top 5. Whenever we're done, I will always remember. That's outstanding.
I'm glad you liked that.
They got a guy at Youngstown State who used to be at West Virginia. UAB coach Andy Kennedy is going to get mentioned. They could also quickly turn to one of their assistants,
which is what they'll do. Whichever assistant's most responsible for bringing in the transfer portal players, along with Huggy Bear, will get the job. They've got to try to keep this team together, and you do that with an assistant.
All right. Listen, is there a part of our society that is any more forgiving? Now, it can be the most harsh also, but is there any part of our society that can be more forgiving than sports. I mean, we will crush you, pound you. But, I mean, at the end of the day, what ends up happening? I want to win. Can this guy help me win? Yeah, he screwed up. We've all screwed up. He paid a price. He just lost a $3 million job because he went and got a DUI.
Hell, it was a $4 million job before he got in trouble the first time.
Exactly. And yes, this is DUI number 2. DUI number 1 was 19 years ago, which led directly a year later to him being forced out at Cincinnati. So, I mean, he's an alcoholic. He's a drunk. He's got to, go get this taken care of. He should not drink anymore. I think everybody's in agreement. Even the media friends who love him are in agreement on that. I'm just wondering, though, if he does, I mean, we change our tune in a year.
No, you're right.
A lot.
I would hire other people, whether at ESPN or at West Virginia. He would not be on any list that I have. He would be done. He's earned it to be done.
He definitely has. He absolutely has. The question is, could he earn it to get a third chance? Does the rehab thing lose? You know how also when somebody goes to rehab, they usually lose weight. So the next time you see them and they sit down, they do the interview, you go, oh my goodness, he looks like a changed person. Look at him. He's dropped 20, 30 pounds. Look at his coloring. Oh, he looks terrific. Then he, talks about, all the stuff in his life. And, I've always, my dad was a drinker and I've always been a drinker. I've been an alcoholic for 30 years and haven't owned up to it, blah, 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 blah. I mean, trust me, the national media, he wants to sit down and do interviews. They'll do them. Because he's held court with these guys for 25 years. They love him.
He's very well liked. And he could do the rehabilitation tour. There's no doubt, David. But to me, it's a third strike. And I know it's a long time ago, but it's 2 DUIs. It's this incident on the air. I don't need to take a chance for him to have another one on my watch.
Okay. I think he coaches again.
Not at West Virginia.
Probably not. No. But I think he coaches again.
Now, that's a totally different story.
2025. Not next year, but the year after. I think he coaches again.
Chambers is out. Huggy Bear's in. Here he comes.
Here we go. Here we go.
Chambers will be here just long enough to get a good job. They'll need somebody else. Chambers had to do a little rehab as well. You know what? You're on to something. Huggy Bear to FGCU in 2025.
Oh, boy. I didn't see that one coming.
21,000's the text line. We've got a new hire. We did it on Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening. The good, the bad, and the ugly. 25 minutes away right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
He was in Pittsburgh, Sonny, when it happened. I don't think he'll do the Bible routine, but I just think he'll.
You can't do rehab without it. One comes with the other.
Well, does it really?
To get the proper forgiveness, yes.
Gotcha.
Gotta say. So the AC, we lost power Sunday morning. Apparently the church lost it too, but they had their generator, or the AC wasn't working. So we went to church and the AC had been out. Father thought the AC came back during mass and he ran the hurry up. 38 minutes, skipped most of the songs. Plus, like, let's go. Happy Father's Day right there. I did see someone, and he must not have recognized me or known who I was, but there was a guy in church with a Florida Sports Network shirt, like the shirts we gave away at the golf tournament on.
Wow. Are we giving away 20 of those?
We gave away about 120 of them.
Oh, did we? Oh, everybody got one?
Yeah.
I forgot. That was a year ago. Seems like forever. So we have a best of show Friday, right?
That is correct.
Then we're going to do a full week.
Right.
And then we're going to have best ofs on the 3rd and the 4th.
Right.
Okay.
You got all that, right, Felipe?
We're off this Friday, and then we're off the 3rd and the 4th.
Right.
Yes.
Actually, we got an email from FPL said it was their equipment, not a truck, but what do I know? I didn't think he could win one before, Sonny. So.
No, I didn't either.
I was rooting for him yesterday. I got up wanting Rookie Fowler to win the U.S. Open because I've turned anti-Rory for whatever reason. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
Right.
Can we talk about the kid and the ball and the Red Sox game here?
Sure.
You can bet on the Special Olympics.
Yes. We
I didn't know if you sorry, you caught that.
10 seconds.
Well, isn't that special?
It's the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Final thoughts and predictions all coming up in about 20 minutes time. David Sampson on the show tomorrow. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com.
So, I don't know if you caught this, but Yankees Red Sox over the weekend.
Rained out Saturday, day-night doubleheader yesterday.
And in game one, a foul ball ends up in the stands.
Okay.
Guy pulls a Moulton with the foul ball, gives it to a kid.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Kid wastes very little time before dad can even realize what's happened, and kid fires ball back onto the field.
Oh, boy.
Dad is there with two sons. The younger son is the one that gets the ball. The older son is so ticked off at what his brother has done that he throws a temper tantrum. In the midst of all this, mom comes back with drinks, not really realizing what's going on. Now the brothers are fighting with one another.
In the stands?
In the stands.
Oh, no. We got to go.
Little brother's throwing food at big brother.
Got to go.
I'm totally with you. But what makes it worse here is that all of this is obviously getting captured on live television in different spots. But the Red Sox, of course, notice, and the Red Sox go gift the two brats jerseys and balls.
Jerseys?
They got a jersey and a couple of signed balls.
Jerseys? I mean, if they had given them each a baseball to stop it, that's one thing. I wouldn't have rewarded the behavior with a baseball, but jerseys?
I don't know how you reward the kids for throwing a temper tantrum in the stands.
By the time the Red Sox officials would have arrived at our seats, we would have been in the car on the way home.
I am right there with you. Now, you and I are different. And I have two children, but the age gap between them, my son's a young man. My daughter's going into 4th grade. There's a gap.
Right.
Now, it wouldn't really surprise me if my son would still throw a temper tantrum like that over not getting the ball.
But hopefully it was just with you. What do you mean you gave her the ball? What, do you like her more than me? Is she your favorite? At least he's fighting with you. That I will say that's a dilemma if you're dad. I got to admit, because you're not thinking you're going to get another ball. You got two kids, one ball. That's a dilemma.
Yeah, but dad didn't catch the ball. Fan caught the ball, gave it to the kid. Dad didn't give it to the one kid. Guy in front, Moulton catches the ball.
Right.
The family the name is the Mulligans, actually. and they got a mulligan out of this one after the whole thing's said and done. But they would have shown me in the stands after the kid threw the stuff at the other kid, and I would have had both of them under my arms walking to the concourse.
Totally. Scruff of their necks. I would have carried them out. We're out of here. Okay. Hopefully I would have run into the wife on the way out. Honey, we're going. Did you get lids on those drinks?
Time to go.
We're out of here. What happened? They're fighting. I'm done. You
Then
want
you're
to
in the
stay here with
stands.
them?
They're showing it on TV. You got kids crying on each arm. Oh,
unbelievable.
Would have been miserable.
I would have said, you want to stay here with them? You can. It's Father's Day. I'm out.
And then the Nesson people come up and they're giving you jerseys and balls, and you got two bratty kids that are getting rewarded for being brats.
Unbelievable. Keep lowering our standards. That's what we keep doing.
So I saw that, and that drove me nuts.
I could see where it would. I can't imagine honestly, if I misbehaved in public with my mother, I mean, I would have expected to have my jaw broken. I'm not playing around. The thought of misbehaving in public around my mother when I was a kid was no way. It just wasn't even an option.
No, because they had a couple of different things they could do that parents now cannot. One is simply called a backhand.
Right. My mother used to have her nursing ring on too.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Brass knuckles.
Yep. Yep.
Well, you told the story when you were very young and you bit her.
I did. We were in the grocery store and she's pushing the cart and I'm sitting in there and, you're facing the person who's pushing the cart. And I apparently, I don't know, teething or whatever. It just seemed like a good idea at the time. So I bent over and bit her hand.
Ooh.
And without hesitation, she backhanded me with her nursing ring on, split my lip, and I am bleeding everywhere. Everywhere. And I'm crying. I'm a kid. And I'm crying. And my mother, who's a nurse, mind you, okay, my mother, according to her, is verbally berating me. Don't you ever do that again. Okay, bite me. And apparently she took me to the aisle with the Kleenexes, grabbed Kleenex, opened them up, took like a third of a box, stuffed it in my mouth, said, here, hold this, and finished grocery shopping.
Beast.
Okay.
No jersey, Kleenexes.
My mother said, okay, the look that she got when she got in the checkout line was something. She didn't think anything of it until she got in the checkout line, and there you are, swollen lip, bloodied, holding the bloody tissues.
My mom got that same look from the lady at the theater when she paid for me to get in to see Slapshot when I was 7. With my 10-year-old cousin. You sure you want to take these two to that movie? Yeah, it's a hockey movie. How bad can it be?
Right. It was technically a hockey movie. She was right.
Little did she know. No backhands needed. No tissues needed as well. Just a lot of laughter. 21,000 is the text line. I just had to bring that story up. I saw the kids going nuts, and it drove me crazy.
Yeah, I know you're not allowed to grab your kids by the scruff of the neck, but
But you can grab them by the ear. That's what my mom always did with her nails too. You grab by the ear and you're like, get over here. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can do it on TV. That's the problem.
That's the whole thing.
It's one thing for her to do that in the cozy confines of your house or whatever.
It would have been a double scoop around the waist. I'd have had one in each arm and just been carrying out. Feet going everywhere.
Would have been something. I'm telling you, hopefully I passed the wife on the concourse on the way out. She turns around. She's got those drinks. Meet you at the car. These kids have got to go.
Miss any part of the show? Go to FloridaSportsNetwork.com where you can download it. Ron Sirak joined us in the 7 o'clock hour. We wrapped up things with the U.S. Open. Talked a little college football with Matt Murschel in the 8 o'clock hour, as well as Pat Garrity talked the association as well.
Did you hear what Wyndham Clark said afterwards? He was basically asked, how'd you do this? And he said, I just kept telling myself, I've beaten these guys already. Because last month he won on the PGA Tour.
And that's a big event.
Yeah, good field.
Always a good field.
Yeah.
And a good
Quail
golf
Hollows.
course.
Yeah. Faxon tried to bring up in the broadcast that Rory had never won before on the PGA Tour, won at Quail Hollow a month before he won his U.S. Open.
And Wyndham Clark, the winner of the U.S. Open, with some terrific up and downs down the way, and held off Rory McIlroy for the win. We'll wrap things up for a Monday on the other side. Thanks for listening, the Florida Sports Network. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
My mom just texted me. She said, you never bit me again. I go, oh, I know. She goes, it worked.
Well, say, lesson learned.
Wish I would work with the cat getting on the counter.
Oh, my God.
Are you allowed to throw the cat?
I do.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I pick it up and give it a good toss.
Well, they're cats. They're indestructible.
What's happened with the one, because the one cat doesn't go on the counter at all. Like I have one cat who's great.
All right.
The other cat doesn't just go on the counter, will go on the counter in front of you and not think like you throw it off the counter. It just walks back in the kitchen and jumps on a different part of the counter as if to say, you're not stopping me. Brazen. I mean, just absolutely brazen. Never seen anything like it. I've whacked the cat. I've thrown the cat. I've pushed the cat off with force.
Damn.
Squirted it with water.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got the squirter. Now it'll get the cat off, but like
they don't listen.
I take my wet hands and will flick the cat, and the
Yeah,
cat,
you go
cat
like
kind of
that.
looks at me like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, cats are relentless.
So when we had Melissa, for 2 months, we lived in a one-bedroom apartment. before we could get out of our lease and move downstairs into a 2-bedroom. And we had a cat. And the cat jumped in the crib. And I don't even know if it was a crib yet because she was so small, but you know what I mean. She jumped in. And I raced over because my fear is she's going to inadvertently smother our kid. And I reached in and grabbed that cat and threw that cat the entire length of the apartment. Just instinctively reached in, grabbed it, and threw it like a baseball. Traveled 10 yards in the air. Went smashing off the curtain and the sliding glass window at the end of the apartment. That must be it, Mark, because I will say that cat never went. She slept right under it, never went in it again. So apparently what you need to throw it off of something.
Off of something.
Like into a wall or something. Any other time I ever, know or remove them from a counter or what have you, nothing. Apparently, maybe a concussion is what you have to do. Because I think I concussed our cat.
Chris Paul's live on Good Morning America.
Come on. Not on Get Up? GMA?
I don't know why I have GMA on right now, unless this was aired earlier.
Is it possibly talking about John Moran?
No, it's old. It was old. Sorry. I'm like, it just confused me because I had ESPN on and now I got GMA on.
Wow. The demolition process for Camp Nou has begun.
For what?
Camp Nou. That's where FC Barcelona plays. It's one of the most historic stadiums in Europe.
Oh, okay.
I've been to it. I went when I was 12. Unreal stadium. They got like the letters in the seats.
Why are they getting rid of it?
Because they're building a new one.
Must not be so great.
I mean, it was like over 100 years old.
Well, I mean, so is Wrigley and Fenway.
I mean, it's a lot smaller to handle Wrigley and Fenway. It's like 100,000 person stadium. But, they're FC Barcelona and they have a lot of money.
The LA Coliseum's right around 100.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. David Sampson on the show. Tomorrow, miss any part of the show, go to floridasportsnetwork.com, whether it's Ron Sirak, whether it was Pat Garrity, whether it was Matt Murschel, whether it was some of our witty repartee. Download what you missed at floridasportsnetwork.com. Hey, quick question. Okay, my $20. Wyndham Clark ever going to win another major? Yes or no?
No.
He's 29, for what it's worth. Turns 30 at the end of the year. Played at the University of Oregon under Casey Martin. Remember him? Okay. And I think now he's going to end up in the Ryder Cup, right? 2 wins, one of them a major. He's now 13th in the world in the rankings.
This will be, as on Seinfeld, he declared it the summer of George. This will be the summer of Wyndham. And this will be it.
So my wife's asking me, hey, who's in contention? And I tell her. And certain names she's heard of before. She goes, Wyndham Clark. Is he like, an heir to the hotel chain? No. Oh, okay.
Good question.
Yeah, sure. I mean, as she said, otherwise, it's not a common first name. I go, well, as a matter of fact, can't recall ever hearing anyone else named Wyndham before.
It is a hoi polloi name. There is no doubt.
Wow.
It screams country club.
Yes, it does. I mean, even the folks at LA Country Club went,
I think they were happy to have a Wyndham win over a Rory. If truth be told.
Probably the only guy in the field we'd approve of. Hope he's not an actor.
Exactly.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1829 we start. Robert Peel introduces the Metropolitan Police Act of 1829 into Parliament and establishes the first unified police force for London, the city's first modern police force.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Peel's beer there.
Sorry, David. Today in 1865, Union General Gordon Granger declares slaves are free in Texas. Now the date, the end of slavery, is celebrated as Juneteenth. The first Belmont was run today in 1867. Ruthless was your winner in 3:05. 36 Schmeling KOs Joe Louis in 12 at Yankee Stadium.
Louis got payback.
Yes, he did.
Quickly.
And then some. Today in 44, 5 of the magnificent 11 photos taken during the D-Day landings at Omaha Beach are first published in Life magazine. 1955, Jack Fleck wins an 18-hole playoff to deny Hogan a record 5th U.S. Open title.
Along with Francis Ouimet winning back in 1913. It's considered one of the 2 greatest upsets in golf history.
Ball 4 was published today in 1970.
Oh, it's awesome. If you've never read Ball 4, you need to keep in mind as you're reading it, this was published in 1970. Nobody had ever, this was TMZ in paperback.
1977 at Southern Hills, Hubert Green wins his U.S. Open. Today in 79, Billy Martin returns as manager of the Yankees in front of 36,000. 1992, Batman Returns is released, and Evander Holyfield beats Larry Holmes in 12. Today in 1999, Brett Hall did not score a goal.
But they gave him credit for one.
And the Stars would win in triple overtime, 2-1, and win the series in 6.
By the way, that Holyfield Holmes fight, was that the first one or the second one? Because Holyfield clearly won the first one. Okay, that Holmes was all upset about, but he clearly won it. He did not win the rematch, and they gave it to him. And that's when Holmes retired. He said, I'm done.
I think this is the first one because this was for the title, so not to retain the title. Lakers beat the Pacers in 6 to win in 2000. The Hurricanes beat Edmonton in 7 in 2006 for the Stanley Cup. It was today in 2011 at Congressional that Rory McIlroy wins by 8 shots to win the U.S. Open.
I will say, because he won it like 16 under par, something ridiculous like
Correct.
that. And I do think that I don't think it's a coincidence that he's got a win at Congressional when 16 under was the winning score, and he has a second place finish at LA Country Club when 10 under is the winning score. I mean, not that he hasn't contended at harder opens, but his 2 best finishes are at 2 of the easier open venues.
2016, DJ wins at Oakmont. And then later that night, the Cavs would come back from a 3-1 deficit to defeat the Golden State Warriors in 7. And it was a year ago that Matt Fitzpatrick won the U.S. Open, beating Scheffler and Will Zalatoris by 1.
You think Scheffler gets an Open? I mean, he's got, what, a T2 and a third the last 2 years.
Yes, I do. Because I think he's going to figure the putting out, David. I think you'll figure out. He's so good, tee to green, that I think you'll get one.
You know what surprised me? He was 2 for 7 getting up and down out of the bunkers this week.
Well, it's because he missed the putts.
That's true. His short game's tremendous.
Yeah, he missed a 4-footer on, what was it, 15 there? I mean.
Yeah, make a dadgum good point.
Mo from the Three Stooges and Lou Gehrig both born today. Felissa Rashad is 75. Paula Abdul is 61. Boris Johnson is 59. Dirk Nowitzki is 45. And Jordan Poole's 24.
Boris Johnson is only 59. He's a mess. Huh. 10 years ago. 10 years ago today, James Gandolfini died at the age of 51.
All right, Mark, you mentioned that 2016 title. You know, when LeBron leaves Miami, most of Miami fans are pissed off, but because they're thinking, why would he do that? Why would he leave? When he won that title and like showed everyone why he left and why he accomplished what he wanted to do, that was a pretty great moment for LeBron fans in Miami. Which a lot of people still hate him in Miami, but there's a lot of people.
Okay. Urban Meyer in Gainesville, LeBron James in Miami. What?
It's stupid.
What is your problem?
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I don't understand it. I know why.
No. There should not be a why. They both delivered you 2 championships. There should not be a why.
Just a thank you?
Yes.
Yeah. People turn so fast.
Yes, Urban gave you 6 years. LeBron gave you 4.
2 chips, back to back.
By the way, won any without him? Now, you've gone, but have you won any without him?
Just one. But since, no.
Okay. Never mind the whole Gator thing, which is just mind-boggling.
It wasn't that he left him. It was how he left him, David.
Well, it's the same thing for LeBron because he didn't even meet with Pat Riley. That honked a lot of people off, but I mean, he went back to Cleveland and won one.
Okay. Mark Miller called this. No joke, Felipe. You have got to take our word on this. Mark Miller called LeBron to Miami over a year before he did it. Over a year.
Stop.
Over a year on the air and said it every month. We would bring it up and he would go, he's going to Miami.
He's going to team
just
up with
rattle off
Wade.
the reasons. Okay. And when he won the first championship, all right, we both said, well, when it's time, he's going to Cleveland. I mean, now he's done what he needed to do. He's got to go. He's got to put the white hat back on. He hates being the villain. He's got to go back. He cannot end his career without winning a championship in Cleveland. He'll go back. And the whole last year he was in Miami, Felipe. If you had known us, we were like, well, he's going to Cleveland. This is not complicated.
That was talk even before the season started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That.
But we said it 2 years. As soon as he won the first title, he had 2 years left on his deal with the Heat. He said, well, he's going back to Cleveland.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Betty Irvine over the weekend from Punta Gorda turned 105.
Wow.
Yeah, celebrated her birthday at a restaurant. She credits living life to its fullest with wine and spending time with her kids in Key West. Her daughter says mom's always the life of the party. She has happy hour every Friday and dances in her chair to keep herself going at 105. Drink a lot of margaritas and wine and dance and listen to music and flirt with the young guys. That away, Betty. That's good enough for us. For the bad, we go to Missouri, where a man used a fake gun to rob a grocery store of dog food. It was at Chinooks. I don't know why that store's been brought up on our show before, and I can't remember why, but the man was witnessed stealing a bag of dog food, asked to return the item and leave the store. That's when he said he had a gun and pointed at the manager what he thought was a real gun, and then he fled on his bike. He didn't get very far as he was taken down quickly by St. Louis County officers. Finally, the ugly. We go back to Florida, where Giselle Robinson was arrested over the weekend when she went to a dollar store wearing nothing but a towel wrapped loosely around her body and a can of Four Loko in her hand. And then she stripped for a pair of juveniles to let them take pictures.
What?
Again, Giselle wearing a towel wrapped around her body holding a can of Four Lokos.
Just showed up at a store?
The dollar store.
And decided to take her towel off?
She told the officer that was called that walking around in public with only a towel is normal to her. And she said she was too lazy to put any other clothes on.
She'll look great in an orange jumper. Hope she keeps it on.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, June the 19th, 2023.
10 Major League Baseball games, 9 of them at night. The late afternoon game is St. Louis and Washington. Rays are off. Marlins back home after the 6-3 road trip, hosting the Blue Jays at 6:40. Can't believe what I'm about to say. 2 first-place teams going at it tonight. Arizona at Milwaukee. And by the way, little interesting matchup. Boston's in Minnesota to face the Twins. Boston is 2 games above 500. They're 12.5 back.
In last place.
Thank you. The Twins are 500. They have a 2.5 game lead in the Central. Just thought we'd point that out. The Reds, winners of 8 straight, are back home to face the Rockies, who now have the worst record in the National League. In all honesty, I want to see what the attendance is tonight in Cincinnati.
I bet you it'll be really good.
It's a great baseball city, and this team is on a roll. They're exciting. They're above 500. They're a half a game out of first. My hope is that the people are showing up.
David, where are you going to go?
College World Series today and tonight. Got an elimination game at 2:00, Tennessee and Stanford. Meanwhile, LSU and Wake Forest, 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, they're going at it at 7:00. They both won their first games. So the winner will move on the way the Gators have. They'll be sitting there at 2-0 with their arms folded to see who they're eventually going to play.
And you pointed out, it's been since 1999 for a 1 seed to win the College World Series. Wake Forest is the 1 seed.
And Wake had a rally in their last at-bat to win their first game. Miller and Moulton, have a great rest of your day. David Sampson will join us on the show tomorrow. We are Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa